one of them, the other without the H.
Well, a lovely, positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, and X, Instagram, of course, sports1440.ca. Maybe you're out of the city, out of the province, and you're listening on the iHeart or Radio Player or the Stingray app. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where we got some tickets. $80 million up for grabs tonight in Lotto Max, as well as 21 million Max Millions. So do the math. It's 100 mil up for grabs. Good luck. Gosh, I hope one of you wins. Be amazing, man. Amazing. So get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. You have until 8:30. Tonight, about an hour and a half before that, the Oilers will drop the puck for the first time in Utah. It's their first and only visit to Utah this year. And it'll be Calvin Pickard getting the start in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. Pickard's last 6 starts, he's 4-2 with a .915 save percentage and a 2.00 goals against average. Solid. The lines, same as you saw the last time the Oilers played. You probably forgot because it's been so long. But you have McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Kapanen. You will have Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Connor Brown. You'll have Jeff Skinner with Henrique and Janmark. Drake Caggiula, who was recalled late last night, he'll play with Derek Ryan and Corey Perry. On the back end, same old Ekholm Bouchard, Nurse, and Stetcher, Kulak, and Emberson. And obviously, Kulak and Nurse will see some time together as well. Meanwhile, Utah comes in. Bortuzzo is going to play tonight. So that means no Lamoureux, which is unfortunate for the Edmonton Oilers because I outlined it yesterday. Lamoureux has taken 10 minor penalties in his last 7 games. 10! That's quite the run. It's not the run you want, but it's quite the run. So he's out. They'll have Barrett Hayton, former 5th overall pick with Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller. Logan Cooley with McBain and Dylan Gunther, young line, who they think that, down the road, that should be a really productive line. Nick Bukestad, of course, had a stretch run here with Edmonton a few years ago. He'll play with Lawson Krause and Matthias Maselli. And then Kevin Stenlin, who, of course, won a cup with the Florida Panthers last year. He centers Michael Carson and Alex Kerfoot on the back end. Sergachev will play with Oli Mata. Ian Cole with Juuso Välimäki and Michael Kesselring and Robert Bortuzzo. And Vejmelka will get the start in goal tonight for Utah. It is a busy day in the National Hockey League. Already 1-game final. Woo! Rangers lose again. So I'm guessing, when Chris Drury sent that out, telling all 31 other GMs that he's looking to make a trade and Trouba and Kreider are available, how's that worked out? Not great. They haven't won a game since. They've been pumped. And today got outshot 35-23 to the Flyers. It wasn't even close. Not close at all. Shesterkin kept them in the game, but it has not been a good stretch run here for the New York Rangers, who obviously try to get things back on track. The Blackhawks had a 2-0 lead, but then the Wild came back with 3 straight, including Tyler Spurgeon, local boys. 2-goal game on his 35th birthday. Happy birthday to Tyler Spurgeon. What a career he's had. 14 years in the National Hockey League. Kind of a little bit of an unexpected career for him, but it's worked out great. Buffalo leads Vancouver 1-0. They're just starting the second period. The Devils and the Red Wings, 4 goals, 2 each in the first period. The Capitals leading the Islanders 2-1 after 20. The Panthers in Carolina leading the Hurricanes 3-1. The Hurricanes score a lot of goals, and lately the Hurricanes, their whole strategy is let's come back in the third period. might not work against the Panthers. And the Flames' offensive woes continue. They are losing 2-0 to the Blue Jackets on what's probably a fairly emotional day for many of those Calgary Flames in Columbus. Johnny Gaudreau, the connection there, as Columbus leads 2-0. The Predators got a goal from Roman Josi, 1-0 over the Lightning. No score Ducks and the Kings. Kraken and the Sharks are tied at 1 late in the first. And then later on, Penguins are in Boston, Jets in Vegas. Colorado is in Dallas. Oilers will be in Colorado tomorrow. So Colorado's in Dallas. The Oilers are in Utah. Cons, double check, but I actually think the Oilers, do they have a closer flight tonight? And their games start at the exact same time. Both at 7, puck drop 7:08 Edmonton time. And then they will both be getting into Colorado later tonight and then play tomorrow. And Stuart Skinner will get the start for the Oilers tomorrow night. Zach Hyman is on the trip. He's not playing tonight. He's not playing tomorrow, as we said. There's a chance maybe Tuesday. Victor Arvidsson not playing on the trip. Victor, that's going to be 9 games now he's missed. For what? Oh, I don't think it's going to be that serious. I thought he was going to be back against Toronto 2 weeks ago. Not happening.
Dallas to Denver, Gregor, an hour 25. Utah to Denver, an hour 25. Dallas to Denver, 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Ooh, so the Oilers gaining
minutes.
just about an hour. There you go. So I don't think it's much of an advantage, but hey, any little advantage, maybe. We'll see. Either way, that's the sked for the Oilers this weekend. And Oiler fans, you're probably pretty excited. It's been a few days since you saw your team play, and obviously it was a very good outing against the New York Rangers. And we'll see how the Oilers will do tonight. This is a game they should win. And last year, remember the Oilers had a 5-day break. They didn't play the 1st to the 5th of December. They came back their first game afterwards, and they pumped Carolina 6-1. They actually won 4 straight after that. So we'll see. Can the Oilers, who won going into the break just like they did last year, can they continue it? We'll see. The Edmonton Elks will be making coaching decisions, talks this weekend. And, all arrows are parting to kill him as the head coach. I think they're just trying to finalize that. But my understanding is it's very close, if not already done now. And then obviously there'll be talk to fill out the coaching staff. We've got a lot of texts already, 833-401-1440. Gregor, do you think any of the current coaches will remain with the staff? Well, I don't see Jarius Jackson, right? He was the interim head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. You bring in Mark Killam. He's not staying. Shivers is the D coordinator. I'll be surprised, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe Armando Sewell as the D-line coach. Marcus Clun, the D-backs, the defensive backs had a pretty good year. But it's going to come down to who Killam wants on the staff, right? I think there'll be some input from Ed Hervey as far as maybe the coordinators and, hey, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? But then when it comes to your D-line coach and your linebacker coach, you want the head coach to pick the guys he's going to be working with every day. So I think there'll be some input, but none. So I'd have to go through the coaching tree to see if any of these guys have a connection. Like Marcus Howell a little bit might, but he might be the only one, to be honest. Well, Killam's been in Calgary a long time. So there you go. As for, candidates for the offensive coordinator, obviously Jordan Maksimic. If he doesn't get the job in BC, I think he'd be a high sought after candidate for Edmonton. They have a connection. He's got a good history of working with young quarterbacks. He would be one. Buck Pierce. Sounded like it's Pierce or Maksimic in Calgary for the head coach job. So if Maksimic gets it, obviously he won't be here. If he doesn't get it, I'd be surprised he stays as the offensive coordinator there. And the thing is, and would they hire him? If you fired Rick Campbell, they had pretty good years in BC. If you fired Rick Campbell with Maksimic, do you think there's going to be that much of a difference? Why would you have done that? And if you did, why don't you just hire him? If Maksimic's your guy, why don't you just hire him right away? So I don't know. At this point, I'd be surprised maybe if he's the guy who gets it there. And if he doesn't, then I think he's the OC here in Edmonton. I really think I'm intrigued. Now Maximic, maybe it's not as important, but if Maximic's not the OC, then I think there'll be some interesting questions. I was looking around the league at some teams and seeing who's available and who's not, and does Killam have any connections to guys? So that's kind of how you dig in. Or does Hervey have any connections to them? Because it is a little bit of a connection world there. So we'll see. But all I know is whoever is the OC is going to have a strong background, whether it's the OC or his quarterback's coach. If it's not the OC, it's going to be the quarterback. One of them is going to have a really good reputation of working with young quarterbacks. Ed Hervey's pretty much outlined that to us when we had him on the show, that he feels it's a vital, important position, obviously the quarterback, and he's high on Trey Ford. I firmly believe Trey Ford will be back in Edmonton. I'll be stunned, shocked, stunned if he isn't. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, it's ewel.ca. On the program today, we will hear from Tyson Nash, of course, longtime NHLer. He's now analyst for the Utah Hockey Club. Lorianne Muenzer will be by. 2-minute warning with Tate. Hopefully, we're going to get to Colorado, talk a little Avs. Also, Craig Button, Spec, is joining us from Utah. We'll hear from Al Mitchell. We'll also hear from the head coach, a few others from the Edmonton Oilers as they get set to take on Utah tonight. And I'll be curious if there's any Oilers fans going down to that game. I know there's a Oilers Nation vacation. They're into Colorado, and then they have a watch party tonight, and then they're going to the game tomorrow. And then they got the Monday, or is it Monday Night Football? Yeah, I think it's Monday Night Football, where you have the Broncos and the Browns. Kind of not a splashy Monday nighter by any stretch of the imagination, but I'll say this, man, with Bo Nix, the Broncos have been fairly entertaining here as of late, fairly entertaining. And speaking of entertaining, we saw the games yesterday, and it came to fruition today, Connor Halley, the final nail in the coffin for the Chicago Bears fire their head coach. I'm like, he might have got Matt Eberflus might have been let go anyway. But I think after the game, when he publicly states, I think I handled it well. I thought I made the right decision on not calling. I think just at that point, you're like, it's done. And then he actually spoke this morning again. And I wouldn't say double down, but it's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, maybe we could have. But he didn't really want to commit that was an error. And guess what? Gone. First time, though, I read that the Bears have ever fired their coach midseason. First time in 100-year history of the franchise. They've never fired their coach midseason. I'm pretty sure I saw that's what Scheffler put out there.
Yeah, it's trure.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting, Gregor, too. Eberflus is a defensive coach. So who would have made that play call? Because we heard they were slow to get it in to Caleb Williams. Would have been the offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown.
Yeah.
Who was promoted to interim coach?
Thomas Brown.
Like,
yeah.
He had a part in that play, and now he's being promoted. He was like a passing game coordinator at the start of the year. They fired Waldron, who was the OC at first, promoted there. Now he's interim head coach. Quite the rise for him, but Bears fans, I think, celebrating universally.
Oh, God, yeah. He was... I think it's in today's NFL, if your head coach is defensive minded, then you better have a great offensive coordinator, and he better let him run the show. Otherwise, I don't think you can win. You have to. You can't be a defensive minded coach. You can be a guy who loves defense, but then you still got to respect the offense. And I find like in today's NFL, everything is geared to wanting the offense to be better. Right? They want more points. That's just how it is. Most sports, hockey at times still fights with that. Hey, let's try to get as chintzy as we can and call back goals. But most of the other sports are like, no, offense sells, especially in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Chicago Bears. What did they build their team around? They bring in Caleb Williams. They draft Roma Dunze and Caleb Williams. They want offense. I'm curious, maybe who would you go for? If it's between Ben Johnson, who I think is going to be highly touted coming out of Detroit, their offensive coordinator, or Bobby Sloak with the Houston Texans. He was another guy last year, offensive coordinator who people wanted. I wonder if those two will be, well, and I shouldn't say I wonder. I know they'll be the top two names out there when it comes to offensive-minded quarterbacks or offensive coaches. I think if you were one of those two players, though, Chicago would be a tempting place to go to, just with all the weapons they have. I think they got some cap space. Defense is okay. Probably get them in more games this year than they should have been in. So I think the Bears actually might be a pretty ideal spot for an offensive coach to go to.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Hey, guys, the comments from the coach made it sound like Caleb Williams ignored his coach, Dan and Wetaskiwin. I don't think so, Dan. You watched that? Caleb Williams, Connor, is looking like, I don't think he knew what the play was. And after the game, he even said, he goes, hey, it's not my job. I just, whatever plays they call, that's what I do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. He's not going to be going up to the line audible and calling timeouts. I think that's what he said. Like, I was told not to take timeouts. That's what the coaching staff is for. Don't want to put more on his plate.
Yeah.
He tried to do something at the line. The play call coming in at, was it 17 seconds? The whole thing was just an absolute mess. And, you can blame Caleb Williams a little bit. I thought the same thing. Like, maybe you got to get a little more urgency to get the ball snapped off. But at the same time, who does that come down to? Coaching. At the end of the day, just coaching failed to play. Yeah, call the timeout.
He's standing right by the referee. It's very simple.
And his face was the weirdest part. Like, he didn't know what's going on. It's almost like he had an out-of-body experience just waiting for the play call to go in, the ball to be snapped. Eberflus just looked like a kid who made a mess in his diaper. Just confused.
Yeah. Well, you know a lot about that right now.
I'm going through it. Yeah.
The Bears should go all in for Deion Sanders to be their next head coach. He'll be the only coach in which the fan base will actually believe he can change their luck, and anyone else will be just another coach with a ticking clock when they'll fire him. From Rick. Yeah, Rick, I'm not the biggest believer that Neon Deion is going to be a great NFL coach. I got to see it to believe it. You look at his team in Colorado, I don't know. What do you make of him as a coach? It's like there's a lot of bluster. Is there a lot of substance?
Yeah, I mean, they had a pretty impressive win today, blanking Oklahoma State 52-0. Shedeur, his son, throwing for 438 yards, 5 touchdown passes. The thing is, how do pros react to what he's saying?
Yes.
You have a certain amount more power over college kids.
Yeah.
Grown men with mouths to feed, things of that nature. It's always going to be tougher. And then would he go to a team that didn't draft Shedeur? I mean, the Chicago Bears aren't going to take him.
No.
So he's not going to go to Chicago. I couldn't see that happening.
Well, man,
anyway.
He better not go to the team that drafts his kid. Like, come on.
I've seen some fun photoshops of he and Shedeur on the Raiders sideline.
Oh,
and as a Chargers fan, I say go for it. Keep it going. Go from Antonio Pierce to Deion Sanders.
Hey, guys, as a longtime guy cheering for the Broadway Blue Shirts, I can tell you when their coach's time has expired, and it sure looks like old Laviolette's shelf life has passed, and he's taking on mold from Hacksaw. Taking on mold. Nice. Man, it has not been a good, 10 days for the Rangers here? Oof, they don't look good at all. At all. And, they made really no changes in the offseason. Kind of brought back everything. The rumors were they were trying to make changes and nothing ever came to fruition, but they're in a little bit of a funk right now. There is no question about that. And it's quieted down about the Shesterkin 11, 12, 13 mil right now a little bit, hasn't it? So we'll see. Hey, guys, is there such thing as retroactive LTIR for Arvidsson? Yeah, but the Oilers putting him in LTIR doesn't save them any money, right? There's no benefit to it at all for Edmonton. Edmonton is actually, you've got Kane on LTIR, but they aren't in LTIR right now. They're accruing cap space, right? Because they don't have to put him in, so it's fine. But no, there'd be no benefit. Arvidsson was retroactive IR when he was placed on the IR. So, because when you're placed on IR, you're out a minimum a week. Well, he's obviously been over that now. His last game was the 12th, so he's well over it. But you know what? There's no benefit to being retroactive LTIR. And there's no real need to do it, to be honest. No benefit for Edmonton right now. Quick break. When we come back, Tyson Nash will join us. We'll talk Oilers and the Hockey Club. Next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Gene Principe for Legacy Heating and Cooling. Some people think I only know hockey, but I know from the flame in your furnace to your muddy ducts. At Legacy, we never shark our duties. We get cracking and knuckle down to have your heating and cooling systems workings right, so you get a comfortable night's sleep. And that's just our division. I mean, a division of Legacy. But let's get to Pacifics. With Legacy, you'll get no interest and no prints of payments for 1 year on your new furnace. Legacy, the difference with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the words, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Get the latest intel before the next hockey game. It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show with Andrew Walker and Landon Ferraro. Before the game, join us all season long on Edmonton Sports Station, Sports 1440.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility. Available off-road package with hill descent control. Available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. You can take the road less traveled and try new things like fishing or whitewater rafting. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously. The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
This Saturday, 6 p.m. till midnight, don't miss the 70th annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest fundraiser of the year. Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsmen serve our community's greatest needs. The Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Saturday night. Main Street, Camrose, corner of 50th and 50th in the former Just For You building.
Get the latest intel before the next hockey game. It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show with Andrew Walker and Landon Ferraro. Before the game, join us all season long on Edmonton Sports Station, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. May the better team win, and may you eat the better pizza. Order an extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $17.99 today at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Positive Friday. How are you? Got big plans for the weekend. Doubleheader if you're an Oiler fan tonight and tomorrow. You got NFL action going on today. The Chiefs and the Raiders. It's 10-3 for the Chiefs late in the first half. You got a bevy of games in the NHL. One final already. The Rangers losing again to the this time to they didn't even look good to the Flyers. Flyers spanked them all over the ice. Then that because here's the truth: if you send an email to all 31 teams, because the GMs they have like their little group chat and say, "Hey, these guys are available," you know the minute you're doing that it's going to be public within less than an hour. It's just how it is, and that strategy hasn't really worked out for them very well thus far. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And you know what has worked out? They've lowered the price in coffee. You're loving it. $1 starts for for a small coffee right now at McDonald's. And also, remember the Fan Day deals. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. $4 Big Mac, $4 McChicken, $4 filet of fish. But only when you order it through the McDonald's app. As we are joined now by former NHLer, the longtime color analyst, first year with the Utah Hockey Club, Tyson Nash joins us. Nasher, how are you adapting to Utah? How's the tan going?
What's up, my man? The tan is drifting. It's slowly fading. But I'm kind of bouncing around. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth.
Okay.
I'm not doing the full-time color job, so I still spend tons of time by the pool when I can in the old Crown Royal bag. So I'm still halfway tanned.
Now, are you planning to hit the hills and the slopes a little bit this year when the wintertime comes in Utah?
Oh, buddy, it's already happening. I got my epic ski pass. I am ready. When I wake up tomorrow morning, I will be on the slopes up at Park City. I'm telling you, this is a special place. We came here in the summer. It's beautiful, different kind of beautiful. But now that the winter has struck, my goodness, in a hockey town, players are loving it. And on their face, right? Just look at their backyards. Look at where they live. It's an incredible spot.
Yeah, I've been there once. It's like scenically beautiful. There's no doubt about that. And you've got an owner who is who's very positive and confident, and is I think very open and honest about what his plan is for the organization and what they're going to spend. And obviously the fans have responded. Tickets are hard to come by. Jerseys get sold out the minute they get put out there. Kind of give you the sense of the vibe after being in Arizona so long, and just is it that noticeably different for you, and just how much more engaged the organization is in the community, and maybe vice versa?
Well, I think, obviously I was in Arizona for a long time, and things started out in Arizona really, really good. I mean, it was a buzz. Every player in the league wanted to play in Phoenix for a lot of years, right? And then things kind of went sideways when the team went out to Glendale. And then obviously it went from bad to worse, going to the mullet. So as things changed, it got worse for the players, and I think the first thing when, everyone got to Utah here, it was like, oh my God, like, look at this. This is incredible. Look at this locker room. Look at this facility. Look at this gym. Look at all this stuff. We can actually have fans in the building. Like, I think everyone was like, no, that's what the NHL has actually always been, right? That's what the NHL is. You guys just haven't had that in Arizona for a number of years with Glendale and then the mullet. So the players are absolutely ecstatic. They feel like they're, not in junior anymore, and they're actually playing in the best league in the world, in front of the best fans in the world. So the players have loved and enjoyed every bit of this. And ownership, Ryan and Ashley Smith, there's no holds barred. They will drop whatever amount of money on whatever you need, whatever the situation. They want a first-class organization from top to bottom in the community, reaching out to the fans, just creating, a real bond here and something really special moving forward. And they're kind of still in a little bit of a rebuild right now. They're second youngest team in the league, so there's still lots of work to be done on the ice. But, this product is certainly headed in the right direction in every category, off the ice and on.
Well, they definitely wanted to revamp their blue line. And, on paper, it looked good. And then Marino has back surgery. And then Sean Dursey gets hurt in the fourth game of the season. And boom, 2 of your top 4 D-men are out. And it just, that's kind of put them behind the 8 ball, right? And they've had rookie young Lamoureux, who's, 21 years of age. He's been playing a lot. And, their blue line, I don't care what team you're on. You lose 2 top 4 defensemen. There's very few teams in the league that can just replace them internally. It's very hard. And how much has that played a factor in maybe them being a little bit slower out of the gate than they'd hoped?
Well, yeah, 1,000%. I mean, you need to defend and you need to be able to get the puck out of the defensive zone, right? In order to score goals, you're missing key components, big pieces to your puzzle. No matter how good Sergachev has been this year, and he has been everything and more with all sorts of pressure on him. But you still need other guys, right? And I think that's been the biggest issue for sure. They're spending way too much time in their own zone. You don't have that second or third layer of offense coming up the ice with your defenders. Younger players are being asked to play minutes that they probably aren't capable of just yet. As much as I like Maverick Lamoureux, he's obviously got some growing to do. And let's face it, this isn't a developmental league, right? He's earned everything. And he deserves to be here right now, but there's still a learning curve for a young defenseman. But the team's grinding, the team's battling, but I think to your point, they'd be a lot higher in the standings, I think, if they were healthy.
Tyson Nash joins us. Now, Nasher, in your heyday, you might have taken 10 minors in a 7-game stretch, but a few of them would have been coincidentals. You would have sucked some guy into coming to the box with you. But I was looking up Lamoureux, like 10 minors that all went for penalties in 7 games. And, he'll get the night off tonight. How much of those are just a young guy, maybe being a little bit out of position? Or is it because of his size, he's overzealous? And it's, when you're 6'7" and you cross-check a guy, if you're 5'11", sometimes you get away with it. What's kind of gone on? Because that's quite the run of minor penalties for one guy in the NHL.
Yeah, he in all honesty and fairness, first of all, you're a rookie in the league, right? So you don't get the benefit of the doubt with the referees. That's a given. Secondly, he's 6'7", not a thick guy, but he's a big dude. So it doesn't take a lot when he leans into you to knock you flying. But you got to be in control. You have to stay out of the penalty box. And that also has killed this team, especially lately. Just way too many trips to the penalty box for a average penalty kill. So it makes your night a lot more difficult. And on top of it all, when you're killing penalties, guys like Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz are not on the ice. And if they're not on the ice, you're not going to win too many hockey games. So it's a group effort to stay out of the penalty box, but Lamoureux, unfortunately, is probably a good time to sit one out here tonight, take a step back, watch from the press box, and learn.
Looking at their offense, man, on paper, they got a lot of guys, as you mentioned, off the top, second youngest team in the league. But, I look at their second line just alone with Cooley and Gunther and Jack McBain, and you're like, what this line going to look like once these guys are all maybe in year 2, 3, 4, they just got more experience. You throw in Clayton Keller and, let's start with Hayton. How's he coming along in his progression as a player? Former 5th overall pick, maybe taking a little bit longer, although I think some people have unrealistic expectations for young guys. Where's he at in his development, and what have you seen this year that maybe makes you give hope that, he's starting to maybe live up to being a number 5 overall pick?
Well, he's staying healthy. That's the biggest thing. He's gone through so many tough injuries, long-term injuries, never really able to get, that rhythm and that momentum sometimes that you have in a season, and you start racking up the points and you're racking up the confidence. And when you're a confident hockey player, you're completely in a different atmosphere, right? And I think he certainly had that at the start of the year. It slipped a bit recently. But he has a ton of talent. I just don't think he's probably realistically a number 1 centerman, right? I think he's probably on a good team. He's probably a third line centerman, right? I think that would be a perfect fit when you have that depth. I think that's what's really still missing with this team is that big number 1 centerman who controls the dot, who is good offensively, who can help and, get the puck in the hands of Schmaltz and Keller a lot more, right? And I just don't think they have that just yet. Everyone wants one of those guys. Unfortunately, you have to do it by the draft most nights, but this is a good young team, and they have some depth. That line you talked about with Dylan Gunther, what a stud this guy is. He gets better and better every single night. He got paid this summer. That massive was a 7 or 8 year contract. Very well deserved. I think he's tied for the team lead right now in points. Leads them in goals. And Logan Cooley, this kid is going to be a superstar. Once they grow into their bodies, too. I mean, they're just 20, Logan Cooley, 21, Dylan Gunther, and Jack McBain. He's just starting to turn into a man.
Tyson Nash joins us, analyst for the Utah Hockey Club. Nasher, Sergachev, I'm assuming, is going to see the McDavid line as much as he can. Which forward line do you think will get the assignment against 97?
I think any line that has Nick Bukestad on it. Okay. He's a big body. You guys are familiar with him there in Edmonton. Really surprised you guys didn't keep him. The guy's he's an absolute beast. He's sneaky good offensively. He's unreal in the face-offs, which is so key when you play against McDavid, starting out with the puck, making him waste a little energy chasing it around, trying to get it back. So Bukestad has been a steady dose of playing against the other team's top lines night in and night out. Although I wouldn't be surprised. Andre Tourney's not afraid to throw, Schmaltz and Keller out there against the top lines too. So it'll be an interesting matchup. Obviously, home ice advantage. You get that last change. But does it really matter when Connor McDavid's on the ice, who he lines up against? I don't think it does.
Now, you come to Utah, and as you mentioned, like, hey, you're back in the NHL now. And so with that, I think there comes a different level of expectation. For a while there was in Arizona, people were like, well, we don't really expect them to compete. The owner doesn't want to spend any money. They're not close to the cap. Their biggest spends were guys on LTIR, so they would get to the cap floor. But that's totally changed. Nash, do you sense that within the organization? Okay, yeah, we're patient, but now there's a little bit more onus on everyone. Like, okay, we're in the NHL. We got to start winning.
Yeah, and there should be, right? I mean, it's the National Hockey League. I mean, you can't, and I think, they've tried to lose, right? They've tried for the Connor Bedards and the first overall picks in the draft, and the chances of that are slim. And ultimately, what it does to your players is it destroys them in a lot of ways, because then and you guys know this very well in Edmonton, getting out of that losing mentality. I mean, you guys lost there forever, year after year, right? And it's hard to get out of that, and that's where Utah is right now. Is they don't know how to handle success. They find ways to lose instead of finding ways to win, and they're coming out of that this year, but only this year. And you need to be in a winning culture, because it matters. It really does. Yeah. And I think guys like Keller and Schmaltz and Lawson Krauses, they're trying, and bringing in a Sergachev, right? A guy who's won cups. I mean, you watch these guys now, and it's a different mentality. It's just a different mindset, and you need everyone to buy into that. And that's the only way this team moves forward, along with making some great moves, which is what Bill Armstrong has done. I think they got a great development coach in Andre Tourney. I think he knows how to manage personalities. I think he knows to get the best out of young players. So there's a lot of good things in place right now here in Utah.
What's the game atmosphere like on game day in Utah?
It's nuts. It's something we haven't had for a long time, right? I mean, since maybe the first 8 or 9 years in Arizona. You're walking around town, even today, after practice and pregame skate, you're seeing jerseys everywhere, just walking up and down the streets. People are getting excited for the game tonight. They know what's happening. They know Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are in the house tonight. So the building will be absolutely slammed tonight. The crowds have been loud. They're so super passionate, and they are absolutely loving this team. And as they should, they've been given a gift here in Utah, and they are all in.
And what's the plan? Because they got to do some renovations in the building, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And so are they going to do that at the end of the season? Like for next year, is it all going to be done, or is it a few-year process?
I think it's going to be a few-year process.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what the building fits or, seats, but I know there's a bunch of obstructed view seats, right? Much like Arizona had back with in the Sun Stadium at America West. It's very similar to that. So there's obviously some issues with sight lines, but Ryan Smith, he's all in. He's like, we will get this rectified. We will make sure this works for our fans. It is all with them about the customer and the fan experience, right? And that's what you love from your ownership group. They want to make it the best. That's what he does, right? Outside of hockey, that's how he makes his money. And he has done a great job at it. And it's going to be no different here in Utah eventually.
Nash, we're always going to catch up with you, buddy. I can just imagine. Let me guess that your ski pants are about as tight as Strutty's jeans.
I'm smuggling hamsters in there, that's for sure. It's not pretty. A 50-year-old man, my wife told me, should not wear skinny jeans. She goes, it's almost time to retire those things. You got a back with a crack.
Nash, you're always going to catch up with you, man. Have fun skiing and enjoy the game tonight.
All right. See you, buddy.
There you go. It's Tyson Nash. Oh, trust me. He is probably smuggling. What do you say? Smuggling hamsters, smuggling grapes, either one. That's super tight. Guaranteed. And it's probably got I should have asked, but I guess he's probably got the fluorescent orange ski pants, something for sure. Just character, no doubt. When we come back, Lorianne Muenzer will join us as we focus a little bit on the mental side of the game on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor and get a $50 free play in the month of December. Finish off because you get a new one in December, so you might as well use it today and tomorrow, and then you get a new one again next week.
A bedtime story by Zachary Martin Hyman.
The hockey game's over. The Zamboni sleeps soon. I lay down in comfort. Legacy heating my room. Good night to you, furnace, with your hot blower running. Good night to you, air vents, keeping the warm air coming. Good night to my payments that I won't see for 1 year. Good night to my legacy. Bedtime is near.
Warm winter nights. That's how you soothe your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net. At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
You've heard people say dream big and think about your future. Well, at GS Construction, we live by those words every day. You see, GS Construction lays pipes in the underground systems in your area. So we don't just think about today. We think about tomorrow and the future of Edmonton's communities and neighborhoods, the places we call home and the places we will call home. We're there when new neighborhoods are developed and return when it's time to replace them. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Tomorrow night at 7, load the stands at Rogers Place because your Edmonton Oil Kings face off against the Prince George Cougars for United Against Cancer Night. Help raise awareness and unite in the fight against cancer.
There will be an equipment raffle benefiting Sorrentino's Compassion House. Plus, fans in attendance will be given signs where they can write who they fight for as we stand against cancer.
United Against Cancer Night, tomorrow night at 7. Oil Kings and a rare visit from the Prince George Cougars. Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Hey, you hear about this new burger place?
Heard about it? I've been to it.
The Varsity?
Yeah, the Varsity.
This is the one at White Mud Crossing, right?
Right.
This is the one with those incredible burgers, right?
Correctamundo.
This is the one
with the unlimited steak fries? Yeah, that's the Varsity, bro.
Unlimited steak fries?
And they're so good.
We gotta go. Like now.
Come to the Varsity for 100% all beef, chef-inspired burgers that are never frozen and cooked fresh. Each served with an unlimited portion of those amazing steak fries. The Varsity Kitchen Bar Burgers.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and the 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and win for a chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Through Friday afternoon. How are you? It's Positive Friday, hockey, football, lots going on. Elks will likely have their coaches staff wrapped up maybe as soon as Monday, what I'm hearing. So final, well, there was supposed to be an interview today with Jarius Jackson, but I'm not 100% sure that actually happened. Still trying to dig into it. I think there might have been some scheduling conflicts, so we'll see. But that was the latest I had on the head coaching search for the green and gold. Let's welcome in Olympic gold medalist Lorianne Muenzer, of course, mental coach, mental toughness is probably the wrong word. Mental focus, maybe a little bit better.
I like the toughness part.
You like the mental toughness?
I like the toughness.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah,
because there's got to be a component of being tough.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise you're going to get just run over or eaten and spit out. And you don't want that to happen.
And I like that you bring that up because I think at times now, everyone, there's a little bit too much of, well, geez, there can never be any disappointment. You don't, I never want to see anybody fail or frustrate. I'm like, well, then you never grow and learn and realize that it doesn't kill you. It's the old adage, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it's true, but it seems nowadays some people are like, well, you know what? We don't want, they pick and choose who they play because, God, if our kids get beat too bad, oh my goodness, they might not survive.
It's true. We don't want to see our kids fail. We don't want to see anybody fail, but you learn the fastest, you learn the mostest by trial and error. And it's the fastest way to grow. And it's really, really hard. But if you look at it and you position it, hey, you know what? Life is a game. Sports is a game. Only one person or one team can win. Yeah. But how can you make this fun so that, it still might hurt, but it's not going to kill you. It's not the end of the world.
And the thing is, most kids, and I've coached hockey now I remember one tournament we went in and we got pumped the first game. I think it was like, no joke, like 18-1. And but the other team, they kept passing the puck. And our kids at that point didn't pass the puck. And so afterwards, I was like, that wasn't very good, coach. It was tough. And I said, did you guys notice the one difference between they're like, well, they were bigger and the team was way bigger. They went to farm kids. They're just bigger. But I said, well, did you notice what they did? They really moved the puck, guys. Mm-hmm. That was the difference. They were passing the puck up and you guys were skating it. And literally by the end of that tournament, our team learned how to pass the puck. And so as a coach, I was like, this is unreal. We got our asses handed to us, but they figured it out. Right? And they trust me, they're on the water slide an hour later. They didn't care about the loss. Right. Yep. So it is a good lesson that sometimes to get, it's like teams who win all year. I don't think they ever learn very much.
I don't know. It all depends on what they do with it, right? Do they win right through to the championship, or are they on fire right until the championship? The final moments really happen and then they crump, or, the holes start showing up, right? Yeah. It's just, sometimes you got to see it to believe it. And I think your young athletes, they got to see it in action. And when you see it over and over again, it goes in for some reason. I don't know, quicker, but
Yeah.
it just does.
Oh, you
Versus
figured
being
out.
told, right? I
Yeah.
think we all hate being told, but to have that experience is the coolest thing.
Oh, well, it's a good learning experience. There's no question. So now the Edmonton Oilers had a 5-day break, which is very rare in the season. They actually had a day off on Sunday, practiced Monday, Tuesday, day off Wednesday, then skated. Yeah, and I can tell you, even just talking to the players, now it helps when you win the last game. So, hey, the 6-2 win, it's great. You go home, everyone's excited, and now we got some time off. But the mental freshness, and obviously the physical freshness they talk about, but just that mental freshness where you're not always having to prepare for a game, even though that's the most fun thing to do, no question. I just, is there a way to the studies that you've learned where a little mental break is incredibly valuable for players? It just allows them, you feel better about yourself, maybe you're more relaxed, and how that can carry over when they get back on the ice.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of literature out there on this. I think the biggest component, Jason, is the social connection part that happens in a few days off, right?
Yep.
When you're so in the moment and you're focused, it's all you see, all you do. But then when you have that short break, it's not letting the foot off the gas, it's just pressing pause. And then I know how I feel and felt when I could see friends, when I could do some fun things, I could go to the movies, I could just be normal. And I think that's part of it, is you're playing at such a high elite level, but to be normal, we forget about that. And as fans, we forget about that too. And as a team, you also have to go off and you have to be normal. You have to go do those things, and being around family, friends, taking that breather, sometimes even, we talked about this before, sleeping in can make the world of difference. And I think even last year when they had the 5 days off, because I'm feeling there's a theme here, is they came back really great, really strong, and they started to put some of the things they couldn't put together, and they started putting it together.
Yeah, like their power play is the one element of their team that just hasn't found their game. Their penalty kill was struggling mightily early on, and it's come on board here. It's been perfect, 16 for 16 the last 7. When you look at the power play, the Oilers just didn't lose their skill. Like, that's obvious. They didn't lose their skill. So there is a technical thing where, hey, maybe the team's doing this, so we got to adapt, but they've always been able to do it for 5 years. So I don't think they'd suddenly just forget about it. But there's also, I think, a pressure of, we're the power play. And they've kind of carried the Oilers team for long stretches here for the last few years. And I wonder how much of it becomes, a mental thing. Like if you're the coach, are all you doing is showing them highlights of all their goals? Like, rather than what we aren't doing, let's show them video of what we've done and what's worked.
I think showing them what you're doing really well is a better way to go, because if you're showing what's wrong, guess what you're going to remember? What's wrong? And guess what? You're going to go do it again.
Yeah.
So let's focus on what we can do. And sometimes, even with this 5-day break, Jason, they may be working on just one skill, one thing that is going to have that trickle down effect. And it's just going to ripple it out, because if we focus on so many things, we don't do all of them really well.
Right? Even the pros, you can't. Even for you, I'm guessing, like when you were trying to make an adjustment in something, you didn't try to adjust all 3 things. You would adjust one, and then follow through on the next step.
Yep. You work on mastery of that one thing. When you've got it, then you build on the next level, and then you build on the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th level. And that is how you build it. But we forget sometimes, because maybe we're on level 4, level 5, but we have to come back to the basic of the fundamental. And that is critical. It's like, focus on one thing, and it will carry you totally across the board in every area, more than you remember, because you've done it before. So your mind has the memory of it. Your stick has the memory of it. You know what to do, but being in that moment, you can come back and do it again.
Lorianne Muenzer joins us on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. The other aspect, and we always get a few texts coming in because we were talking about youngsters and young players and having failure. What about if you're on a team that always loses? At what point does that become too much? And I think that's valid, right? Because, hey, when you're young, you don't want to lose every game. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, no one's like, you got to learn. Like, you need some success. You can't just have failure.
Yep. I would ask a couple questions to the support staff is, are they in a league where it's way higher than where the development is of the players? I would probably ask, what's really going on here? Because you don't want to have that happen, because it's going to really mar and leave a mark on the kids, on the athletes. And you want them to have a good experience. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But then at what point does the coaching staff draw the line and go, okay, hold on a second. Either we got to forfeit some games or we have to focus on some stuff. And the other thing is, how often are they practicing? Are they practicing as a unit? Are they practicing once a week or not at all? And sometimes it's just a matter of ice time and unluck of the draw.
And while there are teams, because anybody out there has played, sometimes just your team isn't very good, and you can practice all you want. And if you don't have the skill of the other teams, like, you're just not going to be that good. It happens in pros. Like, there's teams who go 2-15 in the NFL, and teams who, the San Jose Sharks won 20 out of 80 games last season. Like, maybe it was only 19 actually. So it can happen at any level, but there is one where I would assume if your team isn't winning, you have to find other things to be like, okay, so we've only scored. Our goal is, we don't worry about the score too much, is we want to try to get 3 goals this game. That's going to be our, so let's work on some skills and practice that can allow us to at least maybe score 3. We might give up 8, but at least maybe we're scoring rather than just scoring 1 or 2.
Exactly. And it's building it with those small little milestones. And when you build on those small milestones, then you can add on a few more, but you got to start somewhere. And a couple goals is a good place to start.
What about visualization before an event? How important is it? How long should it be, do you think, for young players? And so when you're teaching kids as a coach, in the room, okay, close your eyes. Do you go as a group first, or do you talk, is it best to go to each individual and just say, I want you to close your eyes and visualize yourself making whatever play it is you make? How do you start the visualization factor into kids?
For the younger athletes,
yes,
or for the first timers, I would do it as a group, because you're connected. And that connectedness is like, oh, okay, it's not just me. But you can also do it where a person will, start, like, if you just play past the puck, visualizing. And if you close your eyes and you hold your hands as if you got the stick, and then you pass it just nice and gently, and you go around the room and it's like, yep, got it. And then pass it on. Yep, got it. Pass it on. And you could start moving them through just simple drills seated like that. Because when I work with young cyclists, how do you get them to rotate safely without crashing each other out? Is we do it on the grass. So we talk about how it's done, but then we show them what's to be done, and then they go through it. So sometimes the athletes need to see it done first versus hearing it. And then they can go, oh, okay, I've seen it. You talked about your young athletes. They got better at the end of the tournament with passing, because that's what the other team was doing. So sometimes you need to see it to do it. And other times you just physically have to do it. And then just close your eyes, because then you don't have the outside distractions, and you can focus only on that one move that you're going to make.
Great stuff. Lorianne, awesome. Have a great weekend. We will chat with you next Friday.
You betcha. Thanks, Jason.
That's Lorianne Muenzer, joins us every Friday here on Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Lots of games in the National Hockey League. Today, Connor Halley will give you the update on those. A few high scoring, actually quite high scoring in a few of them. Also, we will we'll hear from head coach Chris Knobloch, Calvin Pickard getting the start tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. And coming up in the next hour, we're going to go to Colorado. Hopefully, Juan Negretzky will be by. The Oilers, of course, in Colorado tomorrow to take on the Avs. The Avs are in Dallas tonight, and so Edmonton actually has a shorter travel from Utah to Colorado than the Avs do from Dallas, as both playing tonight, and both games start at the exact same time, just after 7:00 Edmonton time. So there'll be no fatigue factor, or there shouldn't be anyway, between those two teams tomorrow. Let's get to the comments. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in. Hey, you maybe been hesitating. You think you can get through it? You can't. Get your winter tires put on. And if you're worried because I don't know where to put my summers, guess what? They'll store them for you. Find a location near you at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers back in action After 5 and 6 days off, the Oil will take on the Utah Hockey Club for the first time. Puck drop just after 7. We've got pregame coverage going to go in at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. On the ice today, a couple finals already. Flyers knocked off the Rangers 3-1, and the Blackhawks losing to the Wild 3-2. Right now, Kraken and Sharks tied at 4 apiece. That one midway through the second period. You've also got the Kings and Ducks tied at 1. Preds and Lightning tied at 2. Flames trail the Blue Jackets 3-1 after 40 minutes. Panthers and Hurricanes tied at 3. Islanders lead the Capitals 4-2. Red Wings at home trailing to the Devils 4-3. And the Sabres and Canucks tied at 1. Later tonight, outside of the Oilers, you got the Bruins, Penguins, Jets, Golden Knights, Stars, Avalanche. In the NFL, Week 13 continues with a rare Friday afternoon game. The Chiefs lead the Raiders 13-3. That one is in the third quarter. In the association tonight, the Toronto Raptors back in action. They'll host the Celtics. Tip off on that one. It's set for 6 o'clock. In the WHL, the Edmonton Elks are in action. They'll take on the Calgary Hitmen down in Calgary. That gets going at 6 o'clock. In the AJ, you got GPs in Lloyd. Creighton Valley takes on Fort Mac, and Canmore meets Devon in the BCHL Sherwood Park, hosting Cranbrook just after 7 o'clock tonight. Down at the Drake, the Pandas will host Mount Royal. That gets going at 7. The Bears in Calgary taking on the Cougars. That also starts at 7 at the Saddle Center. You got Bears and Pandas in action, both taking on the Winnipeg Westmen. Pandas at 6, Bears at 8. And the McEwen Griffins hockey team in Saskatchewan tonight taking on the Huskies. That starts at 6. At 7, the women will host the Huskies as well. And a college football today. Earlier on, Colorado knocked off Oklahoma State 52-0. You had Boise State over Oregon State 34-18. And right now, Ole Miss leading Mississippi State 17-14. Coming up in hour number 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by our co-host, Juan Yegretz of Oilers Nation. And here another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net. At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
I'm Gene Principe for Legacy Heating and Cooling. Some people think I only know hockey, but I know from the flame in your furnace to your muddy ducts. At Legacy, we never shark our duties. We get cracking and knuckle down to have your heating and cooling systems working right, so you get a comfortable night's sleep. And that's just our division. I mean, a division of Legacy. But let's get to Pacifics. With Legacy, you'll get no interest and no principal payments for 1 year on your new furnace. Legacy, the difference with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
We now have a post-game show on Sports 1440. After the next game, tune in to Andrew Walker as he breaks down the game with you. The post-game show brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery, St. Albert.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference. Volvo of Edmonton.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocenter.com today.
One small step for Schwab, one giant leap for Schwab High.
Schwab's has landed the biggest truck sale of the year with Get the Truck Out of Here. Get 0% financing or lease rates as low as 1.9% on 2024 half-ton trucks. You'll be over the moon with employee pricing. Save up to $13,000 on select GMC and Chevy HDs. Plus, get $10,000 cash back. Get the truck out of here. Head to Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
A career in the public service is better in Alberta. Better wages, lower taxes, better job opportunities with our thriving economy, better chances for advancement, plus a better future with new investment in healthcare and education. Public service, it's better here. Learn more and discover new career opportunities in the public sector at alberta.ca/betterhere. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Positive Friday. Sports 1440. Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Jason Gregor. Wanya Gretzka joining us. Connor Halley. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, $80 million. The Martin Marinson of Lotto Max. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. Also 20 max millions up for grabs. Good chance, buddy. And remember the rules. If you win, you throw a party, invite us. We win, we throw multiple ones. It's a good deal. So we've made it. So,
and you said Martin Marinson because he's famous for signing that $80 million deal.
No, because he wore number 80.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. 80,
of course.
$80 million deal.
For Martin Marinson hockey? No, thank you.
Struddy's favorite shot blocker. It's always
too much.
That's when I knew Struddy was finally in a broadcasting mode, when he ripped apart Marty Marinson because he was so tired of watching him. He goes, he's getting in the lane, but he's not getting in the lane. Like, it's so obvious, right? He goes, you can tell when guys don't want to commit. And he was just so fired up about it. God, we laughed. Cons. That was like one of the few times that I'd seen Struddy like very angry with the player. Because I get it, former players are right away. They're like, well, geez, I don't want to think I'm not respecting the game, whatever. And you can critique a player's play on one play. Doesn't mean he's a bad player, but he made the wrong decision or a bad play. But after that, he was out on Marty Marinson. That was a quick exit.
He and I were doing post-game shows together at the time.
Yes.
And he came into the studio. He's like, I got nothing. This game is so boring. It's got nothing. And then Marinson did that. And I think he did a 10 to 15 minute rant straight about it with, impressions of him and all sorts of things. Yes, that was kind of Struddy's. He could do this moment, I think.
Yeah. Also, the Minnesota Wild, Chicago Blackhawks. Marcus Foligno gets ripped off out of a goal. I don't even know what the referees are thinking. It's a race to the puck. Minnesota is going for the empty net, right? They shoot it down. It looks like it's icing. He wins the race. Why? Because he touches the puck and scores, and they blow it down. What the HE double hockey sticks is happening in that game? Absolute ridiculous call. And you know what? That anybody who had Wild minus 1.5 won't be happy. I'll just say that. But you got to get that call right. There's no reason to get it wrong. It's like the Eberflus non-timeout call. If the linesman says afterwards, "Oh, I think I got it right," I think you got it wrong. It's clearly wrong. Other scores that interest the Oilers are the fact that the Sabres had a 1-0 lead, but the Canucks have come back. Jake DeBrusk, who's starting to heat up, scored, and then Connor Garland has made it 2-1 early in the first period. The Blue Jackets are leading the Flames 3-1. The Flames, this will be 21 straight games that they don't score more than 3 goals. 21. Like eventually it's going to catch up. You can't just ask your goaltenders to be lights out all the time there. And the Hurricanes, again, they've been trailing their last 3 games at home. They come back in the third period. And, they actually came back in the second period this time to negate a 2-goal deficit and have now tied the Panthers 3-3. What about the Sharks and the Kraken? What the hell is going on? It's 10 goals and the second period's not even done. I'm loving it. And Macklin Celebrini, boys and girls, Clean Costin does have his first goal of the season, but Macklin Celebrini has scored his 8th, and he's looking like a pretty good young player for them. But the Sharks and the Kraken giving their fans something to cheer about. 10 goals through the first 2 periods of that game. And Oiler fans, we'll see if the Oilers can continue offense after scoring 6 against the New York Rangers in their last game on Saturday. They'll have the exact same lineup except in goal. Calvin Pickard will get the start tonight, which means Stu Skinner will take on Colorado tomorrow, and then the Oilers wrap up their road trip Tuesday in Vegas, and then they come home and they play 8 of their next 9 on home ice with 1 road game in Minnesota in between there. You look at the Oilers. Do you think this there's no reason to panic in Edmonton? And I firmly believe when I look at the schedule and everything else, who they're playing in some of those games, they got a lot of home games. That come Christmas time, the Oilers will be comfortably in a playoff spot. And I'm especially if their power play gets going. And that, to me, the main storyline this weekend is what does the Oilers power play do? And if it does nothing, will they make a change for Tuesday?
I can't fathom how the greatest power play since skates had rounded backs is the same 5 guys that can't outscore the Flyers.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it. Is it because all the other teams have watched so much tape that they understand how to counteract it? Or is it those 5 guys are playing substantially worse?
Well, right, there's a few things. And now Bouchard's had a few more shots blocked. I think it's 16 shot blocks on the power play so far this season for him, which is up, but he still is, he's having way more blocked on 5-on-5 than he is on the power play. But, his rate is a little bit higher than it was last year, no question. But that hasn't led to the significant drop in shots overall from the unit. They used to be a team that would average 60 to 67 shots per 60, right? It's like 1, per minute, which I know might not seem like a lot, but the Oilers have been the best team. They've been the highest shot volume team on the power play the last 4 years. They finished 4th, 1st, and 2nd. This year, they're 31st at 39. From anywhere from 60 to 67, they're down to 39. Like, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out, scientist that is, to figure out what is lacking right now in their man advantage. And it's not just Bouchard blocks. Those are some. Let's just say he was on the same rate. He'd be at 12 instead. So there's only 4. That's not going to change the world. They've got to find a way to get Draisaitl more shots because his are down a half from 50% from what they've been in the last few years. Every year he's averaged like 18, 19, 20 shots per 60. He's at 9.
What about Connor shots per 60?
His are basically the same. 14.58 last year, 14.52. And guess who leads their team in power play goals? McDavid's got 4. So he's been similar to where he has been. Draisaitl's way lower. Hyman's lower. Bouchard's lower. Even Nugent Hopkins, who was only at 8.3, is down at 6. So yeah, they've got to find a way to get more shots. And they got a great opportunity. Utah comes in the most penalized team in the month of November, although young rookie Maverick Lamoureux, who's taken 10 minors in his last 7 games, he's not going to play tonight. He's a healthy scratch. But they've been the number 1 penalized team in the month of November, and their penalty kill is like 75. They've allowed 10 goals. So if there was ever a time this weekend, 26th penalty kill in Utah, 28th penalty kill in Colorado. You got to find a way to get some goals.
Slump buster.
Yeah. It's not the Mark Gray slump buster, but it's a slump buster nonetheless, potentially to see what happens there. So they because if their power play gets going, and here's a fun little fact for you. You know where the Oilers offense in the month of November is in overall goals because of that 6-goal game, and they're per game. They haven't played as many games. They're up to like 8th now in offense. So their offense is coming around, but the power play still isn't. And so if their power play gets going, you could see a few blowouts from this team, or at least you should.
Good on the road.
Yeah, they've been better. Yeah, they've been better on the road at all.
Home record's a bit.
Yeah. Hey, guys, the Oilers, I haven't watched 100% of their games, but the power play doesn't seem to have the near pace it did last year. Even McDavid's zone entries are at a slower. Yes, now the one thing I've noticed is the teams, when McDavid comes up through the middle of the ice, they're really trying to funnel him to enter on the left side. And then, because he goes on the left side, he backhands Nugent Hopkins, and they're really they want Nugent Hopkins and Bouchard to be the guys with the puck more. And so you got to fight that. And so I get it, and you can understand it. We're like, all right, well, because think about it. If you're going to give up the neutral zone, you can give it up where McDavid's coming at high speed and he sees there's more room coming to his left. Well, of course, he's going to go there. And teams have done that. So is that something Edmonton can counter? Or does McDavid then just come in on the left side and then skate it all the way around the net and get set up on the right side? We'll see. But there are some things you can do to counter it, no question. Their passing probably get a little bit quicker. I think that would help. But you're right. Starting with their zone entries, it's not being as crisp there as it was in the past. Shots are down. I said it. They're down significantly. And you start shooting more, just naturally, you're going to score more. Like New Jersey's an outlier this year. A, they've got a lot of shots on the point, and B, they're not shooting a ton, but mainly shots on the point. And that's their power plays mean great. Usually high volumes. You don't want Bouchard firing all the time. It's not a recipe for success over the last 4 or 5 years in the playoffs, not just for the Oilers, in the regular season for the power play. That if you have too much high volume shooting from your blue line, it doesn't result in goals. It has for New Jersey early. I'll be curious to see if it continues. But if you look at the best power plays the last few years, Toronto, Tampa, Edmonton, etc., their defensemen's usually 4th or 5th in shots amongst the first unit, and that's to me where they got to go. Hey guys, I know everyone's focused on improving the defense, but I think this team could use an upgrade in the bottom 6. Do you see a reunion of Bukestad at the deadline if Utah eats half his cap hit from Hampton Steve? Well, I look at that. Edmonton needs a 4th-line center. I would agree. Are you going to pay that much for Bukestad as your 4th-line center? I like Adam Henrique as the 3rd-line center. I have no issue with him there. None. And when Kane and Hyman and Arvidsson come back, like the Oilers' 3rd line, Matthias Janmark, I have no concerns with Matthias Janmark right now. The guy's killing it. And it's 5-on-5 where he's killing it. So he's been fine. I don't mind Adam Henrique. I think their 4th line could use an upgrade in speed, no question.
What do you expect from Kane when he comes back? This has been a protracted injury.
Honestly, I don't know, because all of it's around his core muscles. And so now I've seen Evander around the rink for the last month walking, but walking and skating and contact and twisting and turning are vastly different. And I'll be curious. Now he might be skating on his own, but I haven't heard that. I haven't seen any of his gear anywhere yet in the room. So, I don't know what's the timeline on that, because what did he have? Like 2 surgeries, and then he had the abdominal tears that he got fixed. Like he had significant different surgeries fixed. And so that area, I don't think it's one where you can come back, you rush it, maybe you re-tear it. So it's a great question. And how much conditioning? That's probably going to be his big thing. Let's say we see Evander Kane skate. I'll just use January 20th as a round number date. He could start skating. That doesn't mean he might still be a month away from playing, because he's going to have to get his cardio back at some point to play. So I think in a perfect scenario for the Oilers, and they expect Kane to be back. That's why they've never really gone into LTIR. They're trying to accrue as much cap space as they can. It benefits them. Now, they still might put him in LTIR, because there is the weird rule that, let's say Kane is out until end of March. In April, they could put him on a conditioning stint in the American League, and then you can ask for an extension while he's down there on the conditioning stint, and it's happened. So let's say he stays down there for 2 weeks, 2.5. He plays 6 or 7 games, regular season ends, then Kane comes up. And that's well within the rules of the NHL. He hadn't played a game since June, so to get a conditioning stint wouldn't be out of the norms of possibilities. And if it happened late enough, depending on where he was in his health, they could, in theory, get him into 6 or 7 AHL games potentially. They'd have to apply for the second one after, I think you get 3. And they might say, well, hey, it's not enough. Can we get another 3? We'll see what the league says. Right? They have all the doctor's paperwork and everything to show you the timeline. That is, in theory, something that could happen.
And the advantage too, then no salary paid, right?
No. His salary's paid. The difference is you come into this playoffs, there's no salary cap. So Kane was on LTIR, let's say, because let's say the Oilers go out and add some guys at the deadline, whatever, and Kane's on LTIR.
It doesn't count against the cap.
Doesn't count against the cap. Then once the playoffs start, it's the old Mark Stone, Kucherov suggestion that all the Oiler fans hated, but if it helps them, they might not hate it.
Sneak play.
And now, again, everybody knows Kane was injured, just like Kucherov was injured. Stone was injured. And when they come back, if you can wait a week and it's not against the rules, when everyone yells all year, don't rush him back, don't rush him back. But then when a team doesn't rush a guy back, everybody gets upset about it. It's kind of funny to me. So I'll say this. It is a theory. Now, I think it's a long shot. I think you'll probably see Kane beforehand because of what they've done with their cap and the timeline. And if Kane could get in 10, 15 games, I wouldn't expect much early, but then you'd have a better chance of him being able to contribute in the postseason if he's had at least 10 to 15 games. That's how I would look at it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll return. We'll hear from the Oilers. Maybe go to Colorado and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Some places offer small Black Friday sales, but at Wolf GMC Buick, we go big, baby. All in-stock 2024 models are on sale. Get 0% financing up to 72 months on the amazing GMC Sierra Half-Ton. Employee pricing on 2024 GMC Sierra Heavy Duties and Yukons. 0% financing on Buick Encores. There's even more. Get a limited time offer of up to $1,000 Black Friday bonus on in-stock GMCs, Buick SUVs, and pickups. Wolf GMC Buick, seconds from the Anthony Henday. Get it now, because these deals are on for a very limited time.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit FemaleSuperLeague.com.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number one.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris-Schwiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Vimy and Donnan Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you are a student athlete interested in growing as both a person and a hockey player, visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.ca to register for a free shadow day. Beginner or an experienced player, these programs are designed to nurture and develop your skills in a positive and supportive environment. Vimy and Donnan help student athletes pursue their passion for hockey while achieving their academic goals. Register for a Vimy and Donnan Hockey Shadow Day today.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNuggets, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
Prime Fasteners and Tools, your trusted source for the latest Milwaukee products and deals. Prime Fasteners and Tools offers power tools, accessories, storage solutions, and the fasteners you need to get your project done on time and on budget. Whether you're a contractor or a weekend warrior, everyone is welcome at Prime Fasteners and Tools. For the best Milwaukee experience, visit Prime Fasteners and Tools, located at 12304 184th Street.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. Two great names in work and cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing, when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has work and cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Hurry in today for best selection.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Jap Machinery. Jap is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition Blackout excavators. Visit japmachinery.com for all the details.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$327. Gotta say, I love the live sports when we're on the air during the show. Whew. Does Hopkins play for the Chargers all of a sudden? Oh my goodness, Hopkins and Quentin Johnson going for worst drops of the week. Oh my goodness, wide open. Holy cow, it's a tough one.
I think Quentin Johnson might have caught that one.
Oh, come on.
Even Quentin Johnson might have caught that one.
Oh, here we go.
He has a hard time catching running full speed. That's,
yeah,
a whole new element of difficulty.
Yeah, but
heck of a play by Mahomes to elude Max Crosby too.
Yes. Yeah, that's one where, and Hopkins is normally pretty sure-handed receiver, but yeah, that one stings, man. That one stings for sure. Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Of course, they're Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, and right now you can lease a 2024 XC90 for 0%, and get the plug-in hybrids as well. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Chris Knobloch will hear from the head coach as they get set to take on Utah tonight. Same forward lines, defense pairings. The only difference from their 6-2 victory over the Rangers is that Calvin Pickard, who is 4-2 in his last 6 starts with a .915 save percentage and a 2.00 goals against average, he'll get the start tonight. And talking about Utah, how do you think they're going to try to limit their chances, specifically in transition? That's been the one area where they're good.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good players who can skate and make plays right through the lineup. Very dynamic. It's important that we're, trying to take away that space and not letting them build and create that speed. If you're sitting back, they're can make those plays. And if we're, getting uptight and checking them, not giving that room, makes it a little more difficult for them. But, we talked a lot about their offensive players, that they do have some dynamic players. They've been playing really well defensively this year. A lot more, they pretty open last year, gave up a lot of goals against. But, from what I've seen so far defensively, they've been pretty solid there.
Defensively, they've been okay, but offensively, they're terrible right now. They're one of the worst offensive teams in the league. They might have some transitions, not leading to goals at all. Without Marino and Dursey, I think we're starting to see that they at times struggle moving the puck up. And they've got some good forwards. They don't have, obviously they don't have the dynamic, great finishing forward. So Edmonton has to respect them, but I think this is a game where the Oilers, even with all their injuries to their top six guys and Hyman and Arvidsson and Kane, this is still a game where I look at Edmonton and say, you should have a distinct advantage in skill, and you need to take advantage of that. Drake Caggiula back up with the big club, and coach talks about what he's seen, what he likes from Caggiula in his limited time.
That guy plays hard and a simple game, knows his role. Obviously, he's played higher in the lineup in the past in his previous stops in NHL teams, but he's been able to, I'm thinking about play last game where he against New York, where he's back checking against Kako and caught him from behind and knocked him over and making those plays. He's fast and he is strong, and and also the coaching staff has a tremendous amount of trust in him that he'll make the right plays. And so far, what he's done, we've been happy with, right from the training camp, the exhibition games that he's played, and when we've had him in the lineup.
So Drake, I've had no problem with Drake Caggiula. I've liked his play. And where's the coach believe, his team now, you've had a 5-day break. Obviously, you're super fresh and everything's good. Where does he feel his team is collectively right now?
I'm very optimistic things are going to get better and winning more games and putting a little longer winning streaks together. The season's long, and same thing last year where maybe it's tough to get ready to play every single night and just trying to do just enough to win games. And, the NHL is hard. It's hard to win games. And parity throughout the league, if you're the best team playing the worst team, you can't just show up and play. And, I think, I think haven't been our best, but I also think, we've been a little bit better than our record says we have, and just haven't been able to pull out wins. And ultimately, the game's all about winning and losing, and we're going to find ways to win these games. But, I know we've got more, and I think we're just we'll put together some longer streaks.
We'll see if that starts tonight. I think it's a really good opportunity for that, to see if they can get rolling. And Utah is a team, I look at this road trip, Utah is obviously the worst of the three teams. Unlike their last road trip where they didn't start on a good note, I think they need to get on a better note tonight on that 3-game road trip. They actually, that game in Toronto, they played really well, looked like it was in hand, and then just fell apart in a minute, and that cost them. And Utah is not nearly as skilled as the Toronto Maple Leafs. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, how do you accrue cap space? I thought it was a hard cap. Either you're under it or you're over it, from Warren. So, Warren, how you accrue it is, let's say you're under the cap. So the cap, how it works is you have that much cap every day, and every time you don't use it. So let's say it's 84 million. And so on this day, you only have 80 million of cap space. Whatever the percentage is difference, that's what you accrue. And you can accrue it, and it can calculate. So when you get to the trade deadline, you might have, if you have $1 million in cap space on day one, and you stay that all the way through, when you get to the trade deadline, it's actually worth about 3.8 in cap space because you've accrued it. Then you can use it, and they will count the calculation of what's left over in the rest of the season. So that's how you accrue cap space. It's not just the salary cap is 88 million and your salary cap is 88 million, because you're kind of up or down underneath. Well, you can't go over it unless you're going to LTIR. And then you obviously can't accrue cap space when you're in LTIR. You can have a player on LTIR like Kane, but not be in LTIR because Kane's contract still fits under the threshold of 88 million. That makes sense? So that's how you can accrue cap space on a day-by-day basis, right? And so so this is how you think about it. So a player who makes the league minimum of $775, their average, you get paid per day that you're on the roster. And that salary is about $4,000 a day, give or take. So that's how it works out, because there's about 180 to 184, 184 to 186 depends on the year, how many days there are in the season, and then that's how it gets calculated over. So if it's 185 days, whatever your salary is, you divide that by 185 days, and then that's what you get paid every day you're on the roster. So that's why they sent Kajula down on Saturday night. So then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when he's not on the cap, because even though he's called up last night, he doesn't start till 3:00 today. So there's 5 days, which would be $20,000, and that gets accrued now because they're under. So it's a unique calculation, and Bill Scott and the other capologists around the league, you've got your whole formula and you're checking it all the time. You're literally, where are we now? And you can project, okay, if we stay here, we don't get any other injuries, yada, 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 that, then we can have more space. Now, the Oilers haven't accrued cap space every day because when they had some injury problems with McDavid and stuff, they called other guys up. And so now they're not accruing cap space, right? They put Kane on LTIR so they could call up other guys and have a full roster. But now they're back to accruing cap space, and they'll try to do that as long as they can. So, hey, Gregor, the Oilers would apply for an extension for Kane. Vegas would complain, and the league would side with Vegas. Well, other teams can't complain. The other teams in the league have nothing that they can say about it. It's the league looks at it. They talk to the doctor. They see his report, and then they go over it and say, okay, yay or nay. And that's why they'll do it. So, hey, guys, they're not taking their usual shots because teams have learned how to take those away. Bouchard's forcing more because they're desperate for shots. Hence the shin pad assassin in North America, shin pad sales in North America being up. They'll need to adapt and find different ways and to make it work. They'll figure it out, David. See, I don't know if Bouchard's really forcing shots because his shot attempts aren't up, but his shot attempts blocked are up, right? That's up. So you're right. Draisaitl hasn't been getting teams have said, hey, we'll try to take away the low seam, and that's fine. And the main one is right now, Nugent Hopkins, when he's in a good shooting lane, won't shoot. And you got to start shooting. You got to force teams to be honest, keep them there. But yeah, I've heard some rumblings that teams think that there's maybe a little less zip on his shot. And that's even more willing to why they want to do it. And that to me is why I think you got 2 games this weekend. Their power play gets going. Then everybody exhales. They'll keep it going. If not, change has to occur. You cannot just continue to do it until he does it. So, hey guys, I'm wondering if Kane will be a physical force when he comes back. Well, honestly, I don't know that answer, Daryl. I would assume like Evander Kane's personality hasn't changed. Evander Kane on the ice is very cocky. He's very arrogant. He's not afraid of anybody, and that's all positive. I don't think a Kane can play the game and not be physical. I'd be stunned. I think Evander Kane, when he comes back, as long as he's healthy, like, it's the abdominal tear, he'll probably feel better than he has. He was playing with pain, played all through it last year. So I would think when Evander Kane comes back, now, will he be a little rusty? Will he be a half step behind? Maybe. That could happen. But if he is healed properly, I think there's a chance that, he should be just fine. I don't, I wouldn't have a huge issue with it at all. A few other texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, Chris Morris on your show said the Elks might look at hiring an assistant GM. Have you heard anything on that? Yeah, they have. They've interviewed some guys. And I've heard a few names that they've been touching on. Guys that Ed has worked with in the past. One would be Zimmerman in Hamilton, but I'll be honest, I didn't even look into that. It's probably a good question. I should probably look into it. I mean, focused on who the coaches are, but I was told both Chris and Ed that they do want another person in management. So it wouldn't surprise me for seeing him do that. But I know the coach was a major focus. Doesn't mean they can't focus on multiple things at once, but we'll see.
Yeah, Farhan had said he was the assistant GM and director of player personnel in Hamilton. Spencer Zimmerman. Yeah, he said he could be back with Edmonton in a similar role.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So he said that today?
Yeah, Farhan had that.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. So there you go. I think, Ed didn't want to give himself a timeline, but I think there's an internal timeline. Everybody knows you want. There's a few things at play here. Today that they're wrapping up the coaching interviews, and so then the first thing you do is you get the coach that you agree to, but then you have to call all the other people and tell them that, okay, you know what, you didn't get the job, unfortunate. And considering the timeline of when you have a lot of Americans up in Thanksgiving, do you wait a day? Right? You don't want to give them bad news on Thanksgiving, do you? Right? Like, I know it's inevitable, but I think that'll play a part. And then you got to get the contract signed, sealed, and delivered first. And all arrows are pointed to Mark Killen being the head coach. And then they'll I think Hervey and Killen will have some say together on the OC and the DC. I'm a firm believer. I'll say this, like, mark it down, lock it in. That Jordan Maksimic, I think he's either the head coach in BC or is the offensive coordinator in Edmonton. Mark that down. I'd take that to the bank. I don't expect that he would be staying as the OC if he doesn't get the head coaching job there. I would be stunned for that. And then other guys, from the existing coaching staff. Well, you can't, have your coach and have input on everyone. You want him to pick your special teams coordinator. Obviously, he has a very good background in that. Your D-line coach, your linebacker coach, receiver coach. I could see the OC and the DC where, maybe Herbie they collaborated. What are you thinking? That's part of the interview process anyway. I'm sure Killen would have said, well, hey, these are some guys I want to bring in. Okay, we know that. Great. And you go from there. But if I look at this staff, like, the only guy that I thought had maybe a connection to him was Marcus Howell. I couldn't see. I was trying to connect the coaching tree dots last night, and I didn't see a lot of other guys in the Elk staff. So I wouldn't be shocked if none of them are back, to be honest, because there's no real connection with Killen and any of these guys. So there you go. 3:42. We'll come back. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook.
Wow. Get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Are you watching the interest rates these days? Of course you are. Paying less interest leaves money in your pocket. That's why St. Albert Dodge is happy to tell you that right now they have 0% financing on virtually all new 2024 models. Hundreds to choose from: Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer, Dodge Durango, and Hornet, Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, all with 0% financing. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Mr. Rooter plays a video game.
This is wonderful. A world where a plumber is the hero. My hat is off to you, Mario. Although I personally advise against eating any mushrooms found in a drain pipe. I won't make that mistake twice. All I've got to do now is hop over this Goomba and save the princess. What? No way. I pressed jump. I pressed jump.
For a super plumber with an all-time high score, call Mr. Rooter.
Black Friday is on now at The Brick. Take advantage of incredible deals in every department, like up to 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair, up to 50% off mattresses, and up to $3,000 off select big screen TVs. Plus, buy more, save more, up to $300 off select major kitchen appliances. Turn big payments into small ones and take 72 months to pay with no interest. Some exclusions apply on approved credit. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered.
I need to make one thing perfectly clear here. I am kinda, sorta old.
New
So
players
old.
now receive
Carry on.
$200 in free bets just for signing up. You already
Stampeders.
play? Get a $10 free bet for every
The Elks are up
$100
23
you
to
bet
9 and
every
have
week all season long.
Go
Visit
Sports
playalberta.ca
1440.
and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta and the surrounding area, prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Get your power play amped with eWell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. eWell.ca is your partner in power.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.346. Welcome back, Gregor. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretzky. It is game day. It's been a while, Oiler fans, but your team is back. And hey, it could be a double win for you tonight. Maybe they win on the ice and maybe you win at playalberta.ca. $80 million in Lotto Max and 20 Max Millions. That's a total pot of $100 million. Good luck. Stay within your limits at playalberta.ca. Jason Gregor here. We got a lot of text to get to, but first we'll get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. As Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Of course, Cam has cerebral palsy. Cam was, is in a wheelchair, and due to his disabilities, was unable to be on the radio until now.
I need to make one thing perfectly clear here. I am sorta old. So old, one could safely say I was the busboy at the Last Supper. Now, with that out of the way, we will, on this positive Friday, carry on. But in case you're wondering, I'm a few weeks in front of 66 candles on my cake. I began in this wonderful business in 1979. No internet, no faxes, no cell phones. So perhaps today's homily reflects my age. Let me give you a few examples. To set the table, think of a football game. Elks, Stampeders. The Elks are up 23 to 9 and have had 4 interceptions and 6 fumble recovery. The Stamps, sorry to rag on you Calgary fans, they have 2 first downs, 4 total yards and 7 starters who left the game because of injury. Get the picture? Okay, here we go. Question number 1 to Elks head coach, and for sake of argument's sake, we'll call him Forrest Gump. The reporter asks, Coach, you've really had things going your way. That interception near I think it was the 25-yard line. Wait, no. Come to think about it, I think it was the 35-yard line. I couldn't believe that catch. The player went up on his left side to catch the ball with his hand. I think he heard it when he was playing in university. Or maybe it was junior. What did you like about that catch? OR, question 2, Coach Gump. Why do you think your team had so many turnovers in the first half? Tight and bright, right? I have chucked only like a woodchuck could chuck shoes, wallets, TV remotes, or anything within grabbing distance at my television when I hear television sports reporters go on and on and on and on and on before asking their question. The media's landscape, it has changed 720 degrees. I have always subscribed to the train of thought sports reporters, especially television, and may think that it's their show, but it is not and never will be. Please ask the question and let your subject, not you, fill in the blanks. The 2-minute warning with Tate, Monday, Friday. Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Well said, Tater. I would agree. The monologue question, I'm sure I've had a few in my life, but it's something that I take pride in interviews. You want to get to the response as quick as possible. Makes sense. Now, Tater, how long is it taking you to get your words out? Tater would laugh at that too. So It's good though. Tate's become more involved in the press conferences. Usually will text me his question and then I'll ask it on his behalf. So always got a few witty ones too. So I find he gets away with a lot more too. So it's nice. It's good. It's a good advantage. I would use it too if I was the Tate man. Hey guys, if you look at the Oilers penalty kill and you see how the success is there, how come it's been able to improve but not the power play? Just curious from Steve. It's a good question, Steve. A few things. Well, you know what they did? They changed their penalty kill. Right? They moved Ty Emberson on the right side, and then ever since he's been there, him and Ekholm, and that pair has been pretty good. Just like Ekholm was with Desharnais last year, and Nurse and Ceci, and you have two units, and you have Ekholm and Nurse both on the left side. I think that's better. They blocked a few more shots. That's helped because they weren't blocking very many shots early on. Their goalies obviously made a few more saves. So it's a combination of things. The other thing, I think their forwards are gotten back to being in sync with the defense. The power play, yeah, it's funny because you would think the best players in the world would be able to figure it out. Now it is 18% in the month of November. They're sick, well, 15.8. So they're slightly better, but not enough to get excited about. They're still not even in the top 20 in the month of November at 18.5%. So stubbornness, maybe. They've scored 2 goals right after the power play that don't count for power play. So I don't know, I guess it's not a power play goal, but when the guy's not back in the play and he's skating, in the neutral zone out of the penalty bench, I know it doesn't classify as a power play goal, but it's still essentially a power play goal. So they've had a few of those. So, we're really trying to stretch here, to be honest, to reach. I just think right now, I think it's a little too stubborn. And they've, for whatever reason, haven't been able to adapt to what the opposition is doing as quickly as they did the last 5 years. I don't believe for a moment that all of a sudden every single penalty kill in the league has figured it out. I can't buy like that. It's impossible because then why wouldn't they have figured out everybody else's? Do you think every team is only studying the Oilers power play? Because every power play does different things. So I think it's more on what the power play isn't doing rather than what the penalty kills are doing to them. That make any sense? That's how I see it. Like I could see if you were in a series against the same team every game and they got your number, like Edmonton's penalty kill last year, shut down LA, shut down Vancouver, shut down Dallas, shut down Florida. Got it. That was great. Didn't matter. But the Oilers are playing the Rangers, and then they're playing Utah, and then Colorado. And like Colorado, you think Colorado has much time to really go over the Oilers power play? Like their penalty kill plays one way, and that's what they do. I don't think they change. You don't change your penalty kill every game based on a different power play. It just doesn't work. So I think it's more on Edmonton and what they're not doing than what the penalty kill is doing to them. That's at least how I see it for sure. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, I'm at work. What's the score in the Raider game? It's close. It's 19-17 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Another, like, right now, you should always bet the Chiefs game to end in single digits because they don't blow anybody out, really, and they don't get blown out. Obviously, they're 10-1. And it doesn't matter. They could face the Ravens. They can face the Bills. Or they can face the Panthers and the Raiders. So 2 terrible teams, 2 good teams, and they only win by it. They just do enough to win. It's crazy so far. Now, can that continue? I don't see why not. Cons, honestly, like the Chiefs, do they play great against these lower teams? No, but they find ways to beat them. They just don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I think that the Chiefs are more beatable than they have been in the last 3 years. Like I think a good team has a better chance to do it this year, but they still win games. Like maybe they're playing with their food a little bit. They're obviously getting the best effort from these teams. When they play the Denver Broncos, it's a divisional rival. They're going to play them tough. I think the Raiders beat the Chiefs last year on Christmas. They play them tough. Like Max Crosby gets up for these games. He wants to be that game wrecker. But I still say, like, unless you have a 12-point lead over the Chiefs with 5 minutes left, you still got to be wary of Patrick Mahomes doing some magic because when the game's on the line, he always seems to find Travis Kelce. He always gets those third and whatever. Say 3rd and 5, he'll rush for 6 yards. He always tends to make those plays. So they're still, in my opinion, the favorite going into the playoffs. I think they are beatable, but my goodness, you have to have a big lead on them and really put them out of that game quick, because if you let them linger, they're going to find a way to get back into it.
Oh God, yeah. Like you want to try to put him away. And the problem is, it's like, did you see his pass on their first touchdown of the game today? Like, he just makes plays that very few guys in the league can make. He's like McDavid. Honestly, like, he's dominant at that level, except he's won more. It's the only difference. But he's a magician at times for KC. There's no question about it. And so when people want to tell me that, I'm hesitant to say opposing teams have figured out the Oilers' power play. I think it's more the Oilers' power plays in a funk, and it's going to wake up. Now, when? I don't know. Nugent Hopkins can play better. Draisaitl, they can all play better. There's no question on the power play. And when they do, I think we'll see it. If they don't this weekend, that's a wonder if there'll be a change come Tuesday. When we return, Craig Button will join us on a Positive Friday after the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. You can get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers back in action tonight, taking on the Utah Hockey Club down in Salt Lake City. The Oilers will be without Hyman and Arvidsson. Calvin Pickard gets to start between the pipes. We've got pregame coverage for you here on Sports 1440 at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Right now, 2 games going on. A lot of scoring. Sharks lead the Kraken 7-5 in the third. Kings up on the Ducks 2-1. 3 minutes remaining in the final frame. Still to come tonight, Bruins host the Penguins. The Jets in Vegas. Stars taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Earlier today, the Flyers knocking off the Rangers 3-1. Wild get past the Blackhawks 3-2. Canucks in overtime over the Sabres 4-3. The Devils drop the Red Wings 5-4. Caps beat the Islanders by that same score. Panthers doubled up the Canes 6-3. Flames losing to Columbus 5-2. And in overtime, it was the Lightning getting past the Preds 3-2. Right now in the NFL, the Chiefs and Raiders right now. Chiefs on top 19-17. 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter in that one. In the association, the Raptors are in action. They're down in Miami, taking on the Heat. Tip-off in that one set for 6 o'clock. Locally, the Oil Kings in action, but in Calgary, taking on the Hitmen. That'll start just after 6. In the AJ, you got GP in Lloyd. Drayton Valley takes on Fort Mac, and Canmore meets Devon. In the BCHL, Sherwood Park will host Cranbrook. Down at the Drake, you got Pandas and MRU meeting at 7 o'clock. The Bears in Calgary taking on the Cougars. That's also a 7 o'clock puck drop at the Saddle Center. Bears and Pandas basketball taking on the Winnipeg Westmen. Pandas at 6, Bears at 8. And the McEwen Griffin men's hockey team hits the Saskatchewan, taking on the Huskies at 6. At 7 o'clock in town, the women hosting the Huskies as well. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
Ain't it beautiful? What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Volvo of Edmonton.
We all live in Canada, right? And we all know it gets cold, right? And every second that ticks by, it gets colder and colder. Well, GS Construction is prepared for that. GS Construction is the group that makes sure all those underground pipes that lead to and away from your home stay flowing. Because pipes freeze. You don't want that. So GS Construction has been hard at work as winter approaches, preparing our underground systems to run smoothly. To find out more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Could your school, charity, or community group use financial support with a capital project? Maybe Vision Credit Union can lend a helping hand. Vision proudly offers helping hand grants of up to $10,000 to qualifying organizations for capital projects that benefit our branch communities. Apply by January 31st, 2025 for a chance to qualify. Helping Hand grants up to $10,000 from Vision Credit Union. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolling through. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook and X, sports1440.ca. Busy day in the National Hockey League, 14 games. Of course, the late games will be Edmonton taking on the Utah Hockey Club, and also Colorado and Dallas. They're the final two games of the night. And then, of course, the Orders will be in Colorado tomorrow to take on the Avs. And, man, this San Jose-Seattle game is crazy. Up to 13 goals now, 8-5 for the San Jose Sharks. I'll say this about the Sharks. They're a much improved team from last year. There's no question about that. Their young guys are coming around. They still obviously got ways to go, but they're exciting. They're entertaining. And you know what? If you're not going to win, at least be entertaining. And they have become more of an entertaining team, no doubt. We do have lots. I like our random Friday text because we always ask that on Friday. If you want any questions, sports or non-sports, we like to have fun with it. Feel free, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greggs, I'm curious. The dream is over, and I'm deciding, do I use a razor or electric to shave my head? Well, good luck. It's always, you know what? This obviously isn't Jason Strudwick. It's very important to know when the dream is over. That is very, very important. And number two, personally, I would go with the blade all day long. Start from the front, go to the back. And then I do it in the shower because the pores are open. It's much easier. And the way you go. And then always, you got to go against the grain too. So if you go front to back, then you shave again. Back to front, and it's very, very smooth. It's not it doesn't feel like a carpet at all. So that would be my recommendation. The electric shaver, no. I tried it once, I hated it, so I would never do it.
It's a good look though. I don't know too many people who've given up on the dream, shaved their heads, and had anything other than praise.
Well, it looks way better than the guys who are like who hold on to it. Yeah. You know, you got to comb over, or just you got monkey butt going on in the back. Like it's not good. Right? Like, decades ago, there was a long time where bald was considered like faux pas. Not anymore now. No. I don't think it's really an issue at all. So I get it for some people. They're very connected to their hair, and that's fine. I can respect that. But I think for the most part, it's not, not everybody's going to like bald, and not everybody's going to like brunettes. Everybody's different. So, you gotta own it and have confidence. It'll be way better for sure. Hey, guys. Oh, I love this question. And I want Wanya's answer, too, from Steve. Guys, what is your idea? There's a girl I've liked for a long time. I finally had the courage to ask her out. She said yes. Going on our first date tomorrow night. What should I do? Phil. Ooh, Phil. It's a good question. Well, first of all, kudos to, you know what? You can never hit a home run if you don't get up to the plate. So I've never understood. Yeah, geez, I'm scared to ask her. Well, what's the worst? She'll say no. You'll survive. Your life wouldn't change at all. You hadn't gone out with her before. If she says no, you're still not going out with her. Move on. But she said yes. So it's a good question. First date. Ooh, for me, first date, I avoid a big dinner. I'm not a big fan of a long dinner on your first date, right? Like you want to have some activities, maybe you're doing some stuff. You can go for a brunch or something, pick her up or whatever, or meet somebody. I guess depends how well she knows you or not. But I would avoid the long dinner on a first date.
You got to play the odds. You got to either find out something that she likes.
Yeah, and if you know her,
do that thing.
Yeah.
Or secondly, go somewhere and have the maximum amount of fun you can.
Mm-hmm.
A dinner is not a fun place to get to know somebody.
No.
Especially face to face. There's nowhere to hide.
You can find out if a person's a little competitive if you want. Like you go to Speeders.
Sure.
Right? Go in the Speeders. You got to sign up in advance. You find out what, do they like to drive? Are they aggressive or not? Right? Stuff like that.
But even like dinner versus like going bowling.
Oh, yeah.
At least you have an activity to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
dinner, there's nowhere to hide. Don't do dinner.
No. Yeah, it can be a little too serious all of a sudden.
Yeah. A movie's not bad because at least you don't have to talk. But you're not going to get to know anyone.
Yeah, movie's terrible. That's a word. Like movie and dinner on a first date to me. Like you go to the movie, maybe, you might get a little bit of a, you hold hands or something maybe, but probably want to do that on the first date anyway. But I would definitely avoid a movie on the first date for sure. And I'll say this, on your first date, let's give her a hug goodbye. You want to leave them wanting more.
Exactly. You know what you do if you want to do like a hipster move? If it's this weekend, you go to Fort Ed Christmas Market.
The what?
The Fort Ed, like
Fort
Edmonton Christmas Market.
Oh.
So they have all the outdoor stalls. You can go and look at some garbage for sale. I mean, garbage in a bad way. Just mean like a bird's nest with a Santa sleigh or something. Girls love this sort of thing. There's food to eat. Christmas market.
Oh, yeah. Another one, mini golf's pretty easy, although it doesn't last very long, right? It's short.
People might be bad at golf, though. You don't want to
well, it's mini golf. Like, who cares?
Well, some people.
Well, then you'll find out right away if they're competitive. Because some people, it all depends on what you're looking for, too. You kind of find out. But, first day, you just want to see, can they have fun? Can they laugh themselves? Do they have a good sense of humor, right? You know what else is actually good sometimes? A comedy show can be a good first date.
You can be bad at mini golf. You can't be bad at Christmas market. You know what I mean? Like, it can't go badly. You're like, I don't know. I walked, I looked around, I bought a bird's nest with a Christmas tree in it.
It's true.
How about like the rec room? If it's going good, you could extend it to dinner, but you don't have to.
Even if it's going good, I wouldn't do dinner. I might have like a beer or something.
Yeah,
like,
you could have a drink.
But yeah.
I think they have bowling there.
Oh, yeah. Rec room's got a lot of things.
You know what I like to do on first date? Go to wedding
No,
venues.
I don't. I've never been on one.
Go to wedding venues. And just, I'm like, can you imagine, girl?
Oh.
Imagine?
Well, you'll know if she has sense of humor or not.
Like, what kind of centerpiece would you like? I'm like, I don't know. What would you like, dear?
Yeah.
Photoshop your faces together to see what your kids might look like.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd recommend, get off your phone. Do not be on your phone if you're tempted. Because there's nothing like you're on a date with someone. It's a first date. They should be priority number 1, 2, and 3. There's zero reason to have your phone.
At the end of the wedding venue first date, they look at you and say, when would you like to book? And you look at the date and go, well, when's going to work for you, dear?
Why not? Hey, guys, go to a lounge with a in-the-house band, little food and maybe a drink. Mike, well, if they like live music, yeah, it's a show. It's not bad. But when the show, you can't talk a lot because the music is blaring in some of those places, right? So all depends.
For some people, though, like Gregor, you're not necessarily the best person to ask first date advice because you're so confident. For the rest of us normal people that aren't just like brimming with confidence, you're like, who cares if someone turns you down? A lot of people do. Like a lot of people do care.
Yeah, but you overthink it.
Sure, but I'm just saying, maybe you want to go somewhere where you don't have to talk. You don't have to do an activity.
Yeah,
and going to a show.
If you're an introvert, it might be better. Yeah.
Being around somebody and going to a show for some folks, that's a big step forward.
Well, like if you go to a concert together, right? It's kind of hard though, unless the date's tomorrow. So unless you know what the concert is.
Depends why our texter didn't ask this girl out before. Is it because like my infatuation with Natalie Portman, we haven't crossed paths? Or has he known her for years and didn't want to make the move?
Yeah, well, there is something to know about, like, how well do you know this person? Like, if you've interacted with them lots, well, that changes it, right? Because you've probably had multiple conversations. You probably know something about them.
Then you got to find out what they like best and do that, because they can't associate bad memories with the thing they like doing best.
Oh, fair point. Where do you come out on what you ask for questions on a first date?
Well, nothing serious, for heaven's sakes, people. You say, if you were going to be a golden girl, who would you be? And you can't be Blanche, because we all want to be Blanche. What do you think? You don't be asking what's your love language and all this other crazy nonsense people say to each other.
Who would you vote for?
Good. Oh,
good one.
That's Connor's number one question. So, who'd you vote for? Well, you'd find out right away. What? Well, we haven't. Well, they didn't vote for anybody because we're in Canada. So, right? Who'd you vote in the last election? Oh, well, I saw that someone was trending. Yeah, you know what? Now I asked people who they voted for, and that's who I determine I date. And I'm like, what an idiot!
What on earth?
Yeah. No wonder you're single.
Be like, what was your favorite Connor McDavid hairstyle? Was it the year he had the long feathered bangs?
I don't remember what.
Was it last year when he had the mullet going for a while? That's how you get to the bottom of things if you have chemistry. What's your favorite Connor McDavid hairstyle? The only answer that's right, by the way, is the feathered bangs.
Chemistry or bordering on a little bit of a creeper. So that's the key. But, hey guys, speaking of going on dates, what about breaking up? Been going out 2 years with my lady. It's not working. Well, then break up with her. Like, I don't know. Like, don't overthink it. I would say this here's my advice. Break up at her place, not your place.
Smart.
Always do it there, because then you can just leave, right? Like, not right away. Okay, we've broken up, I'm out. But you got a much better chance. They're at your house. You're pot committed now. You're like, what are you going to push them out of the house? So that would be my number one rule. And just be honest as quick as you can and rip the Band-Aid off.
Read a script. Honestly, read a script.
Yes, write out exactly what you want to say.
And just read it.
Have a cue card, maybe. Read the cue card a few times. 100%. And don't be because some people are bad breaker-uppers.
And don't backslide. If you're going to break up with somebody.
If the tears come, you got to hold strong.
And you can't 3 days later be like WYD on the old texts. You got to stay strong, my brother or sister.
Hey, guys, my buddy... True story, boys. Had a first date a few years ago, and 3 hours in, she asked me, if we were still together after 12 months, will you have kids with me? I didn't pay for a coffee after that. If we're still together after 12 months, will you have kids with me? She asked you that? Well, maybe she was testing you. It's a pretty bold question on a first date.
You pull that on me and we're at the wedding venue. I say, of course we'll be together in 6 months. Of course we'll be together in 12. We just booked our wedding.
Oh, yeah. We could have a whole... Send us your worst date story. Oh my God. That would be a comedy hour, man. A comedy. There's a few things. I know Cons, I think weren't you and I discussing this a few years ago? It's either you or Strutty. One of their buddies went on a date and the girl asked like kind of how much you make and what's your bank account.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was me. One of my good friends. Someone in my wedding party, in fact, was asked, can I see your bank account? Like online banking.
Why?
Not sure. Also was very similar with the...
Can I see your online bank?
What's your long-term
who in
plan?
Their right mind would think that's a good question.
Yeah. What's your long-term plans? How long do you think you'd be to date before marriage? I think the woman was in a bit of a midlife crisis. And like her friends were getting married and she wanted to get on it quick.
You need to get on it. Well, you can't put a timeline on love. Let's just be honest about that.
What are your plans though? And show me your checking account, or two very different columns of a due diligence.
Big time, yeah.
But let's be honest. You know for sure what your plan is, because you might think you have a plan, but you don't know for sure. You got to meet the right person. Like you can't just say, well, I'm getting married come hell or high water. And if I meet Sarah or I meet Tiffany, well, it doesn't matter. I'm getting married in 6 months. So who's ever there, like that's the recipe for disaster.
I think they mean, what are your plans like in life? Like, I'm going to be the boss at the watch factory or whatever it is you do.
Young Jason Gregor. Well, my plan I know is I'm going to OTR on Saturday. After that, who knows? Who knows? It's a good plan, man. I'm going to see Dr. Wang.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know who he is, we can't be friends.
A couple frying pans of shooters. I'll find myself.
Yeah. Well, that's a big one. Hey, what do you think of frying pans? You ever done shots out of a frying pan? Well, you really haven't lived then, have you? So, hey guys, breaking up is 100% harder than the asking out part.
Yep.
Dakota, I'd probably tend to agree with that.
When I was in high school, I was breaking up with a lady on the phone, and I had a script written out, loose leaf paper, and I was reading it. My dad came into the room, and for some reason, I didn't want him to hear me breaking up with this girl reading a script, so I changed like my rant mid-rant until he like left the room. Then I went back to breaking up with the girl. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Stick to your script. Don't worry if your dad comes in the room.
Hey, Wanya, you're wrong. The McFlo was the best McDavid haircut from Lance.
It's fair, Lance.
Well, I'll let you two battle that one out because I don't remember any of his haircuts, to be honest. I do remember the picture that they put on his 1,000-point T-shirt. It's kind of what I remember, but that's about it.
How about the McTuft when this tuft of hair sticks out of the helmet?
Well, that's when you know he's really going fast in the game. And that's usually a sign of, McDavid's had a few pretty good rushes here lately. Mick Tuft. It's true. When we come back, Craig Button, we'll get back to sports. But we have the one segment on Fridays where we have random text questions. We have a few more, but we don't have time for them. I might save, there's a few beauties. We might save them for next Friday here on the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies, like the original, the Orangesicle, and the Marathon, made with cranberries, bananas, strawberries, orange sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
The World Junior A Hockey Championships, December 9th to 15th. Teams from around the world are coming to Camrose. For more information, check out sports1440.ca.
Could your school, charity, or community group use financial support with a capital project? Maybe Vision Credit Union can lend a helping hand. Vision proudly offers helping hand grants of up to $10,000 to qualifying organizations for capital projects that benefit our branch communities. Apply by January 31st, 2025 for a chance to qualify. Helping hand grants up to $10,000 from Vision Credit Union. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Sometimes it feels like you work, sleep, and, well, that's about it. When you finally get a break for something different. At Edmonton's best games room, Top Shots, billiards, and ping pong. Unwind with championship tables, a state-of-the-art golf simulator, and 15,000 feet of games and fun for all ages. Top Shots is a fully licensed bar and restaurant with dozens of flat screens. #1 for parties, for bookings for any size. Top Shots, the best thing to happen at pool since chalk. In Millwoods and at topshots.ca.
This Saturday, 6 p.m. till midnight. Don't miss the 70th annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest fundraiser of the year. Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsmen serve our community's greatest needs. The Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Saturday night. Main Street, Camrose, corner of 50th and 50th in the former Just For You building.
A delicious new deal is at Tim's. $3 for a classic breakfast sandwich when you buy any size hot or iced coffee. You heard that right. Just $3 for a classic breakfast sandwich with Canada's favorite coffee. Terms apply. See app for details.
It's time for Tim's.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $10,104 off select 2024 Sierra 2500 AT4 models. Make loading easier than ever with the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. Make hauling easier than ever with up to 14 available camera views, including transparent trailer view. And make finding tunes easier than ever with a class-leading 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. Yeah, let's get to work. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
When it comes to bull riding and bronc riding, cowboys know their score depends on how well their draw performs. And when it comes to getting to the rodeo, Competitors know they can depend on their Ram 1500. Best-in-class towing capacity, the largest available media center in the industry, impressive fuel economy, and everyday strength you can count on. See the all-star lineup of Ram 1500s at your Alberta Ram dealer today.
Courses of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, it's official. Not that anyone was surprised, but the Kansas City Chiefs have clinched a playoff spot. Victorious today. They're like the opposite of the Chicago Bears. They just find ways to win games where the Bears find ways to lose games. This time, botched snap in the shotgun formation. Does the quarterback even ready, Cons? I'm not sure if he was ready.
I mean, it didn't matter. Well, as Declan's saying, the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift, voodoo magic. You let them linger, they find a way.
Oh, they do. Yeah, let them linger. And
here you go.
They find ways to win. Like, watch it. Like, honestly,
he's looking left. Yeah.
He's not paying attention, or he didn't think the snap was coming yet. So, premature snapping's never good. Never good. It always ends up poorly. So.
Good snap, though, right where it needed to be.
Well, it was right in his hands. He just wasn't looking at it. So, tough one. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition. Check out hockeysuperleague.ca for more information. As Craig Button from TSN, of course, former Scout GM, Stanley Cup winner, joins us. Butts, happy Friday. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was just watching the end of that Chiefs game. I know the ball was snapped, but might not have been snapped on the quarterback's count.
Yes.
But 3 missed field goals. And, hey, listen, they don't ask you how you win sometimes, just if you won, right? And certainly, you talk about the Bears. I mean, that was a debacle. If you'd never watched football ever in your life and you're tuned that in and you're watching what they were doing, you go, what are they doing, right? And then last year, you saw the Dolphins go into Kansas City. They couldn't handle the cold. Ooh, their hands were. They go into Green Bay yesterday. What a joke! And then they go, "Yeah, we're soft. We can't handle the cold weather." Like, how can you take teams like the Bears seriously, the Dolphins seriously? Like, there's so many teams you just can't take seriously because they don't have what it takes.
Yeah. That's very true. And you look at the NHL, it's the same thing, right? Like, there's certain
I agree.
teams they're like, hey, they don't have push comes to shove. Seattle Kraken don't have what it takes. We go to the Buffalo Sabres until they show what it takes. They don't have what it takes, Craig. Today's a day. They lose in overtime to Vancouver. They can't get out of their own way in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yesterday we did a little thing on Sports Center about, American Thanksgiving, an indicator of who's in the playoffs. What does it mean? And I said, like the Boston Bruins, like I'm not going to bet against the Boston Bruins. And you can look at where the Bruins are at. They're struggling a little bit to find some goals up front. And I said, but like, if you look at the Buffalo Sabres, like I'm not going to bet against the Boston Bruins, but I sure as heck ain't going to bet on the Buffalo Sabres. So you hedge your bets, right? You look and you go, okay, that's where I'm going. And you're spot on. I mean, it's 13 years. It's 13 years they've been out of the playoffs. Why would you bet on the Buffalo Sabres? There's just no way. And the Bruins somehow, some way find ways to get in. That's what good teams do. It's easy to win when you have your A game. How do teams win with their B game? And good teams win with their B game.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid. Did you happen to catch Mr. Carberry's comments today after the now Washington, the disallowed Carlson goal? I'm going to read you this quote. Quote, "It's so arbitrary. I don't know where it goes, but I do feel like it needs to be way more clear for the players and for the fans and for the coaches to know exactly what we're doing here with goalie interference. bingo. Like I honestly, I don't know I'll watch them like, geez, I don't know. Like there's a lot of these ones where I'm like, that shouldn't be like, if you're in the crease, you're not touching the goalie. How the hell is that goalie interference? Like we've seen guys where Corey Perry had his stick, not even touching the goalie, and they gave a goalie interference. Like I don't know. This year, it's like they've gone backwards on goalie interference reviews. I don't know what they're calling.
Yeah, well, and I think so. You say you don't know what they're calling. Spencer says they don't know what they're calling. Goaltenders say they don't know what they're calling. Players say they don't know what they're calling. So what I would say is the problem here. So why don't we look at solutions, right? There was a game earlier this year. Tampa Bay was playing in Winnipeg. And Connor Geekie is pushing Connor Hellebuck's pad. It goes right into the net. And I've been in the managers' meetings and through these different, exercises where you show a clip and go, okay, is this interference? Is that? I can guarantee you every single manager would have been shown that clip and would have said, yeah, that's goal. And they come back and they go, good goal. And you're like, what? And Connor Hellebuck, I guess, I'll have to get my hands on this, Jason, and I'll work on it. I'm going to be in Winnipeg next weekend. So I'm going to ask Connor if he can share it with me. But he said he shared some ideas on goaltender interference with hockey ops and everything. And I'll just talk to him and get some ideas. But so we got to find a solution to it. We can't keep saying my idea, and it's only one idea. So I propose this. So it goes to the situation room, right? I would like to see so we have 7 people that are going to be in the situation room on a regular basis.
Yes.
We have to have consistency in who's making the calls. I think there's an inconsistency in who's there. We can't have the same 4 and 5 people in the room every single night. So let's get a group that says we're going to have 7. I just picked 7. Maybe it's 5. I don't know. But we have 7. And 4 of them, we have 4 of the same in there, 4 of the 7 on a continuum. I think that's how we try to get a little bit more consistency and a little bit more continuity. That's my idea. I think we're all open to any idea that can find that consistency in these calls.
Yeah, and I think that's very important because if you have too many people working at every game, and you can't have too few because they'll get tired and then they get, I don't know. But everybody's going to have a different interpretation, and there's no perfect, clear rule. I understand it, but this year it just seems like we weren't having this same discussion as often last season with a lot of these calls. At least I don't remember it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jason. Again, and so we have goals, right? And it's the same thing with the offside rule. And I know the league gets criticized. Gary Bettman warned the managers: do we want to be taking goals off the board that are inches offside, that are 60 feet away from the net? Do we really want to do that? And keep in mind, it was born out of a silly missed call. Derek Amell joked about it, that big offside by Matt Duchene, and we overreact. And and I understand that they made adjustments, the plane and everything, but we're talking if it's that far offside, okay, but we're talking inches, and really again, I think with goaltender interference, there's a creation of more uncertainty and more inconsistency as you try to fix a problem. I don't think we fixed the problem.
No, I'm totally with you. That's very well said. They haven't fixed they're just creating more problems.
Yeah,
what they've done with it, but I like Carver is and his team won the game, so it's not like sour grapes. His team won the game, and that's the best time because no one can say, "Oh, he's just a poopy pants." It's like, hey, our team won, but it's still this isn't acceptable. So the next time, whether it's against my team or not, we're getting the calls right. That's what you want. Because it's like people complain, I don't really care about it until it impacts my team. No, you got to care about it so it doesn't impact your team down the road.
Exactly. Well, and I think that's one of the challenges that you have. And I understand it. I mean, the managers get zeroed in on just their team, right? But to be able to step back and say, okay, what can we do without the singular focus just on our team? And that now I go back to managers meetings. I go back to different, I think we should have more people involved in the making of rules, former players, former executives, former coaches, as well as the current managers, as well as the current coaches and executives, so that it doesn't just become, well, I got to think about it from my own team standpoint. What happens if this goes against me? I'll share a quick story with you. I was lucky. I got to work under Bob Clark and Bob Gainey, and they were always thinking of the bigger picture of the game. George McPhee is like that. Kenny Holland is like that. And I'm not blaming any manager for getting the blinders on for their own team, but we had talked about clipping as a penalty, right. And we'd come out of a general manager's meeting, and Denny Gauthier came across, and Denny Gauthier could hit in the open ice, but he came across, and to me it was clipping. I ended up talking to Colin Campbell, and I said, Colin, it feels to me like that's a clipping penalty. He goes, I can't believe you would say that. And I said, why not? He said, well, it's your guy. And I said, Colin, I'm not looking at, I don't want Denny Gauthier suspended. It's not about anything like that. I'm just saying, we just had a long discussion about clipping. I'm just pointing out that that's where we're at. But Colin was surprised. And I had a long talk with Colin, and I like Colin, and I have a lot of respect for him. And Colin said to me after, he goes, Craig, he goes, I get calls from managers that are complaining to me about calls, and their team isn't even playing that night because it affected something in their game a previous night. He said, so yeah, I'm a little shocked. I said, I'm not here to call out my player. I know you're watching everything, but I said, isn't that exactly? He goes, yeah, it is, Craig. It is. I think Denny might have got a game suspension for it, but that was a direct result of the influence Bob Clark and Bob Gainey had on me.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense. Like you should, if you clearly want the game to be better, you can't only want it to be better when it benefits your team. You just can't. Otherwise, it's too self-serving, and you'll because then because there's going to be one team who likes to call and one team who doesn't like to call, right? There's always going to be that way. So if you only wait until we only want to change it when I don't like the call. Well, no, you got to look and say, do you know what? Geez, if my guy got away with something, and we want to get that out of the game, then call it on my guy, and I'll live with it. We move on.
Well, I don't know if you saw the Calgary-Columbus game. Matthew Olivier delivers a clear check from behind, can see numbers from 25 feet away. So they call a 5-minute major on the ice, and then they review it. They reduce it to a 2. And Dean Evason's complaining that Martin Pospisil ended up in a fight, didn't end up with an extra 2 minutes. I'm thinking, Dean, you should just be happy that your guy didn't get thrown out of the game and you're on a 5-minute penalty kill. But to your point, they look at it through the lens of their own team. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But you can bet your bottom dollar if that's one of Dean Evason's defensemen getting hit from behind like that by a Calgary Flame, he'd be up in arms.
Yes, totally. Craig Button joined us here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Speaking of the Flames, Craig, it's 21 straight games where they haven't scored more than 3 goals. Their goaltending has been good, but they're losing more. Kind of coming back down to reality. I think a lot of people thought offense wasn't going to be their strength. And it's funny, their first 3 games of the year were very good, but since then they can't score 4 goals in regulation or overtime. And that's just kind of who they are, right? If you're the Flames, do you just not worry about Rasmus Andersson until next year? Or do you try to get an answer from him? Because I know you can't sign the contract extension until July 1st. But you can talk about it. He's under contract. You can talk about contract with a guy at any point you want to know, do you want to be here or not? Because if not, doesn't he have more value this trade deadline when you could have him for 2 playoffs for a new team?
Absolutely. I think you have to get out in front on it, and you can get out in front on it. You can't put ink to paper, but you can have a really good understanding of what it'll take, which, allows Rasmus to understand, okay, what does this mean for me? It allows Craig Conroy to understand what it means for his team. And 2 playoff runs on a massively valuable contract are significant. So you should, and I wouldn't expect anything less than real significant value in a trade if that's the way it went. And just quickly back to the Flames. At the beginning of the year, I thought they could be a 500 team. I was asked, could they make the playoffs? If they were going to make the playoffs, so many things just have to go perfectly and very right for them. And, how often does that happen? It's a rare occurrence. And I think what you're seeing now, not being able to score, not being able to falling behind in games early, chasing the game, penalty killing, that's terrible. I think the Flames are where they're at. Jason, if you can believe this, I heard this the other day when I was at the CHL USA Prospects Challenge, and somebody said, "Well, maybe the Flames might be a buyer." That was from that was from some of the media, and I'm like, "What? A buyer for what?" It's just no. Continue down your path. Don't be getting false illusions about where you're at or what your team is, And now circling back to what you said about Rasmus Anderson, listen, he's a really good player. No question, teams would love to have him, including the Flames. But you need to get an understanding of what it means and where it goes. Because one of the things that the Flames found themselves in last year when this went about was there was all this uncertainty about when the next shoe was going to drop. And that continued on all the way through the year when they traded their unrestricted free agents. Do you want to go through that again next year?
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, you don't want to, no question about it. Craig, there's lots of rumblings, the New York Rangers and you have the GM portal and somebody put, hey, you know what, these guys are available. When you do that, pretty much, it's going to be leaked by somebody else to somebody and it goes public. And now all of a sudden Kreider and Trouba's names are out there and the Rangers, it hasn't worked well at all because they've been even worse. And, there's all the rumblings of JT Miller and the Rangers and the Canucks. What do you make of all this? And what did you make of Chris Kreider coming out and really outlining what his injuries were?
Well, I mean, number one, Chris Kreider, he's just going to be honest about it. We hear so much of the upper body, short-term, long-term, that could be mid-term, and was his arm hanging below his waist, which makes it a lower body injury when it occurred, but it's really an upper body. It's ridiculous. I just think it's ridiculous. Let me share this with you really quick. Many years ago, I talked to a number of sports science people, and I said, in the heat of a game, when you are absolutely battling and the speed of the game is going on, can you even think about, well, that guy's left hand, I'm going to slash him? And every single one of them, the players are wired in a different way to play the game, not to be thinking about other things like who's sitting in row 3 in my season tickets, because that's not the person. They're zeroed in. How many times you heard players say, yeah, we know the crowd's there, it's great, but we just play. And I think that, yeah, okay, so if you want to slash somebody on the face-off because he's got a bad hand, well, you're going to get penalized. So I've always felt that the injury stuff is all overblown. It's silly. Anyway, that's my own take. So now Kreider comes out and he's honest. Listen, if you think as a manager that you're going to put out names and it's not going to get out there, then you're naive. Okay, you're naive. Because the first thing you do, first of all, Trouba and Kreider have no trade clauses. So let's just say that comes across, right? So I send that to you and Jason, you go, well, geez, you check the contract, you might phone the agent. Hey, listen, you know what? We just got this note, right, that says, so no, he wouldn't go to your team, Jason, or yeah, he would go to your team, Jason. But to keep it secret, it's not happening. It feels... We saw what happened last summer with Trouba and Chris Drury. I really admire Jacob Trouba because he was asked about it, and he said, my job's to play. My job, all I can do is go out and play. And I'll be straightforward. I had Chris Drury as a player. I know Chris Drury well. I like him. I don't think this is a good path to be doing because it takes the focus off of trying to find solutions to your problems. Yeah, it just creates unnecessary distractions, and I don't think that's ever good for a team or for its players.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with you on that. The Rangers, there's some rumblings, they tried to make moves in the offseason and didn't. I'm like, well, you just didn't try hard enough. I don't buy that argument that, I tried, it didn't work. If you really want to make a move, you'll find a way to make the move, no?
Well, Jason, I really tried to lose 10 pounds. I really did try. I tried. Well, what did you do? Well, I tried. But what did you do? Well, I tried. Well, did you have late night pizza? Yeah. Did you forego dessert? No. The NHL managers are paid very well. And their job is not to talk about how hard they tried. It's about given opportunities to give their team the best chance to be successful, whatever that is defined, wherever you're at. Right. If you're going to tell me as a manager, I tried hard and it's really hard to do it, maybe I need another person in that manager's chair because that's not the job description. I always say this about people say, well, he works hard. I don't celebrate hard work. It's a minimum requirement. It's like inhaling and exhaling. Don't tell me, oh, I worked hard. No. That's a minimum requirement to show up and work hard, be on time, and working hard as a manager and trying hard. Your job is to get the team, and you're paid very well to do it. And if you're not going to do it, then I'll get somebody else to do it. That's what I'd be saying as an owner.
Craig, the Four Nations Cup announcement will be next Wednesday. The rosters have to be submitted by Monday. And, there's a few guys in Edmonton, Zach Hyman, I think when the season began, most of them had him as a lock on that team. And I don't think he played poorly, he just didn't score. I don't think he's played himself off. Evan Bouchard wasn't a lock, but he was right in the mix. I think Makar and Pietrangelo were always the first two right defenseman locks for Team Canada, but you've got Noah Dobson, you've got Evan Bouchard, you've got Dougie Hamilton, you got Uyghur, you got Parayko. Where do you see Bouchard after, the last two playoffs? He's been unreal in the playoffs. Obviously this year, strangely, he's hitting shin pads at a crazy rate. He's never done it before, if you look compared to him to other ones, but he's doing it now. Where do you see Bouchard's chances? And do you think the beginning of the season has impacted at all, or is it more based on a bigger sample size?
Well, let me say this about Evan Bouchard. For me, he's an automatic on the team. Automatic. I'd play him right with Josh Morrissey, because I think Josh Morrissey can do for Evan exactly what Matthias Ekholm does. Automatic. I think this whole idea that Evan Bouchard, the Edmonton Oilers last year, from the time Chris Knobloch took over, were an excellent defensive team. They were an excellent offensive team. They were an excellent penalty killing team. This year, the goaltending hasn't been good. Okay, so that affects. The penalty killing hasn't been good, so that affects. And offensively, they haven't been able to finish, and that's nothing to do with Bouchard. I think Bouchard's had an excellent season. I think if you go and look at the underlying numbers and the metrics and the analytics on Evan Bouchard, you'll see the Edmonton Oilers, when you go look at their metrics offensively and defensively at even strength, they're top of the league. And when you have bad goaltending or weaker goaltending, that's going to affect you. Evan Bouchard, I think any of this narrative about Evan Bouchard, Noah Dobson, I know he's young, has not had a good season for the New York Islanders. Yeah. The guys you just think, and I don't think Colton Parayko has had a good season for the St. Louis Blues. So the fact that those two guys are mentioned ahead of Pietrangelo, ahead of Bouchard or ahead of Uyghur, or Dougie Hamilton, in my view, they shouldn't even be in the conversation for the team, and Bouchard would be an automatic on my team. Zach Hyman has been snake bit, and we know what he did last year. I think he's had some good stretches this year. Zach very well may be a victim of not being able to follow up on it. But, hey, listen, you got to earn your way onto the team, and sometimes despite some things that aren't going your way, other players might have played their way onto a team and your spot may be lost. I mean, there was a lot of talk about RNH. RNH isn't in consideration for this team. He's not going to be on the team. No. Bouchard's an automatic for me. We'll see about Hyman.
Yeah, so I think Hyman's an automatic for me. And I thought Bouchard was right in the mix. I did talk to two GMs and they said, hey, I think Bouchard could be there. Now, these are GMs that weren't picking the team. They said the only thing that works against him is we know Makar is going to run the power play. That's a given. For sure. And that Bouchard doesn't kill penalties in Edmonton. Doesn't mean he can, because he's actually done it in the past. But some guys will look at that and say, well, geez, we want our other guy to kill penalties. And so that was two other active GMs saying if there was a thing going against him, that might be it. And so, it's kind of fascinating. The other guy was Uyghur in Calgary. Where do you think he comes in? Or is he
let me just say, can I just say this about Evan? What do they only have one power play? Oh, Makar's going to play all 2 minutes? Really?
Yeah. Point,
So you're going to put McDavid out on the ice. I mean, he's got lots of familiarity with Bouchard. We talk about the Bouch bomb. The car shoots the puck differently. And, one of the things and we could talk about Uyghur. Mike Johnson and I did a team, and Uyghur, Tanef's a great shutdown guy. I think that if you put, let's just say Chris Tanev, because that's ultimately what we came to when we put our team together. Okay, so you need a penalty. You got Chris Tanev. He's a great shutdown guy. And you have Evan Bouchard. To me, Evan Bouchard offers so much to your team. The other part of this, too, Evan Bouchard's an excellent 5-on-5 player. This idea that so you don't think the other forwards don't need to get the puck on the move and, as the puck's moving up the ice? Sorry, not sorry. Evan's on my team. And people can try to find the flaws in him. Jason, I can't begin to tell you, I say this all the time, is that so many people in the East, media included, and managers, and they don't watch anything after 10 o'clock Eastern time. I mentioned about Michael Granlund being a good trade target for the Boston Bruins, and I had people go, Michael Granlund? I said, yeah, it's obvious you don't watch after 10 o'clock Eastern time. He's over a point-a-game player. He's been terrific for the San Jose Sharks. But that's just my own little diatribe.
Who would be your starting goalie for Canada?
Who would be my starting? Whoever played good the last game before the tournament.
But so which three do you think? Like Binnington, Hill, they're getting announced. Hill's last 5 games have actually been really good for Vegas.
Yeah.
Binnington, Hill, is Talbot the third? Is it Fleury? Is it Montembeault? Who do you think's the third goalie?
So it's interesting. I'm going to go back to 2023 when Kelly McCrimmon traded for Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick had come off of some surgeries. He hadn't played very well in LA, gets traded to Columbus, and then Kelly picked him up. He didn't play in Vegas. Kelly knew what he was getting. Remember they had Brossoit, they had Hill, and they had Logan Thompson. They'd had some injuries. Kelly brought in Jonathan Quick to just 2 Stanley Cups, experience, work with the goaltenders, be around them, a voice, calming voice, a voice of like reason, calm down, don't worry about it. And they won the Stanley Cup. And we saw they got injuries in that. And so that was his thinking behind adding Marc-Andre Fleury. So Hill's won a Stanley Cup. Binnington's won a Stanley Cup. So you know that those guys can do it. If it's up to me right now with the uncertainty of everybody else, I'd bring in Marc-Andre Fleury for exactly the same reason that Kelly McCrimmon brought in Jonathan Quick.
All right. Well, it'll be fascinating to see. Next Wednesday, there'll be lots of debate to see who is on it and who isn't on it. And it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Get some hype leading up to the tournament. Craig, have yourselves an awesome weekend. We can chat with you next Friday.
I want to say one quick thing too. The World Junior roster camp invite is coming out Monday, and the same thing's going to happen. And people are going to focus on who didn't get invited. Like, you know what? It doesn't matter who didn't get invited. They're putting together a team that hopefully can win a gold medal. Same with the Team Canada 4 Nations announcement on Wednesday. When you have a deep pool of talent, and that's what Canada has at their hands, there's always going to be some good players that don't make the team.
Very fair. Great stuff, Craig. We'll talk to you next
week. See you later.
There you go. That's Craig Button from TSN.
Are you excited for 4 Nations Cup, Gregor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We were arguing about this at work the other day, and some people aren't because there isn't like a history to it.
Well, I don't need a history. Like Tyson said, legacy schmegacy. Who cares? It's your ego. Like, what history do you need? Well, I want to remember what happened 8 years ago. Who gives 2 squirts what happened? It's irrelevant. This is best on best for 4 countries. Great. Would it be nice if the Czech Republic was in, or Russia? Sure, but they're not. So I don't care. They're not there. I can't complain about it. I know who's there. I'll watch Sweden, Finland. I'll watch Canada, US. I'll watch Canada, Sweden. I'll watch USA, Finland. I'll watch them all because there's going to be like the best players from those 4 countries are playing. It's going to be awesome. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I know there's some people that just think Canada and US are going to rout. I don't think so, but I don't count out the Finns. I still think Canada's the favorite, no question. But those Finns in those tournaments, man, there's no team that comes together better to overachieve than Finland. So I wouldn't count them out at all. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Ready to tackle your toughest tasks? Edmonton Kubota has you covered with the all-new M8 Series tractor with powerful 181 and 201 horsepower engines, Cummins power, and loader readiness. It's built to handle any challenge. And now, for a limited time, get a free 4-year extended warranty when you drive off with an M8 Series tractor. Don't miss out on this unbeatable offer. Visit Edmonton Kubota today and power up your productivity. Edmonton Kubota, where power meets performance.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
Black Friday is on now at The Brick. Take advantage of incredible deals in every department, like up to 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair, up to 50% off mattresses, and up to $3,000 off select big screen TVs. Plus, buy more, save more, up to $300 off select major kitchen appliances. Turn big payments into small ones and take 72 months to pay with no interest. Some exclusions apply on approved credit. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
A career in the public service is better in Alberta. Better wages, lower taxes. Better job opportunities with our thriving economy. Better chances for advancement. Plus a better future with new investment in healthcare and education. Public service. It's better here. Learn more and discover new career opportunities in the public sector at alberta.ca/betterhere. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
450. Welcome back. Positive Friday. Oilers in Utah for the first time in franchise history. Also, the only time this year. The other two meetings will be in Edmonton. One next month and one, I think, in March. It is. It's time for 5 questions right now. Brought to you by The Brick. Oh, my goodness. It is Black Friday deals, and there are huge savings. So get into The Brick today and through the weekend. But if you're looking for great deals, up to 60% off sofas, you get 50% off mattresses, appliances, they got great deals. So anything you need for your home, you can get it at The Brick this week, especially today.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, the Oilers 2 games this weekend, tonight and tomorrow. What's the record going to be? And how many goals did McDavid and Draisaitl combine for?
You know me, Connor. I'm old school. I'm not picking the Oilers to lose ever. 2-0. This 2 wins, no losses. Dynamic duo this weekend. 6 points.
I think the Oilers win tonight for sure. Tomorrow, I'm not. Like Colorado's got their guy. I'm gonna say they'll go 1-0 on the weekend. And Draisaitl and McDavid, goals between the two of them, 3. No, 4. Because I think they'll get 3 tonight.
Any assists?
Well, the question was how many goals.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Do you want to change your answer?
No, I'll go with what I have.
Question number 2. You guys saw the lines, obviously the same since last week with the change in net. Was there any changes you would have made to the lineup?
Well, they won 6-2. It's kind of hard. At some point,
Listen
the
to
power play doesn't move, then I'm changing up Skinner for Nugent Hopkins. I'll give him the weekend, but that's it.
Changing up Skinner for Nugent Hopkins on PP2?
No, I'm putting Jeff Skinner on the first power play after the weekend. If they don't, you can't just continue to be insane and do the same thing.
You're right.
So yeah.
I think you just play the hot hand. You've won. You continue with the same lineup, Connor.
Question number 3 for you guys. The Buffalo Bills put out their annual call to Bills Mafia to go help shovel the stadium ahead of their game against the Niners on Sunday night. The snowfall is coming. If you're in Buffalo, are you answering the call? And I will say, shovelers get $20 an hour, American, and are provided with food and hot beverages.
It's a lot of snow. I guess it would depend where, you know what, if get a few buddies to go, it might be some fun, do it together for a few hours. Sure. Because I saw that they were talking like they think it might be like 2 feet of snow by the time it gets there. So it's gonna be a lot of work, no question. So I don't think you're doing it just for the money. You're doing it more for the experience, right? Kind of fun thing. Food, beverages, great. But Like how many hours, man? Like shoveling is no joke if the snow is heavy. Like no joke, and it can sneak up on you, and you can be pretty sore. So I'd probably do it once. I think if I was a young buck for sure.
How many Buffalo Bills fans don't shovel their snow at home, but go into the stadium and their spouses are like, "Hey, what are you doing? You haven't shoveled the driveway in weeks." Not only would I shovel the snow, Connor, I would then take the money I made shoveling out the stadium and bet it on the Bills to beat the Niners. What I would call the double slam.
I mean, if you saw what happened with Miami and Green Bay last night, maybe those warm weather teams struggle. I like that plan, Juan. Yeah. Question number 4. PWHL season gets going tomorrow, 3:00, Montreal and Ottawa. Is there a team you'll be rooting for on the side here? And who do you think will be champions once the season's done?
God, I have no idea on who's going to be the champ. Like it's a 6-team league. It's hard to pick any league on who you think's going to be the champ. But I will go. Connor, you go first.
Ottawa Charge.
Okay.
Because it's like the Chargers and they've got some local products. Colors aren't great, but I like the Charge. The Minnesota Frost, like their logo reminds me of like Gatorade Frost. So I don't like that one, but yeah. Ottawa Charge, baby.
Now, is that because of Sir Dacme?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to go
I mean,
with too.
it's mostly the Charge.
We've
but-
had friend of the show. You know, she's great. So yeah, I will go with them as well.
It's hard for me without Edmonton having a team. I'm a big hometown guy. So when I see I don't have an NFL team, Connor, I don't care. It's none of my business. Major League Baseball? No, none of my business as well. NBA? Are you crazy? I would include the PWHL in those piles of leagues where I appreciate the sport, but I don't have a horse in the race.
Yeah, like if I was picking a team just based on who I liked, I'd pick the Boston Fleet because they have the Hartford Whalers logo sideways. Yeah. Looks unbelievable.
I go with Ottawa, our nation's capital. In times where you don't know, you're watching an Olympic sport, you don't know who to cheer for, you always cheer for the Canadians. I'll just go with our nation's capital.
Pretty pro Ottawa on this show. Okay, final question for you guys. Our last show before December gets going. So in the next few weeks, we'll be sprinkling in some Christmas music. What would you say is your favorite holiday classic? And is there one we should be avoiding?
You know what I do, Gregor? I don't have any traditions at Wanya Manor, but on Christmas Eve, I do all my wrapping, drinking mostly rum with a splash of eggnog for color.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch Charlie Brown Christmas from beginning to end.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
classic.
Yeah.
Old school music, old school cartoon.
Well, you kind of dance like Snoopy.
There you go. It's a great time, though.
Oh, yeah. It's playing the piano, just killing it on the keys. Yeah, so that's your
Charlie
movie.
Brown Christmas, man. It's a classic.
Is there a song?
The entire thing.
Okay.
The whole thing's great. And the video on YouTube, about half an hour long.
All right.
Just enough time to wrap your presents.
If I'm going a Christmas song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, Mariah Carey. Just because, man, she has a set of pipes, no doubt about it. So, and the old classic White Christmas from Bing Crosby, still a beauty. Tons?
You know what? I'm a sucker for Christmas in Hollis, Run DMC. And then I was introduced to Christmas in Killarney by Bing Crosby, by my wife and her family.
All right.
So I like that one. And you know what? I don't think I have too many must avoids, but I like them sang by the original. Well, not the original, but the classic artists like Frankie, Bing.
All right.
When you're bringing in the new artist covering it, not a huge fan.
Okay. You know what's an underrated song?
It's a Corn Christmas?
No. I don't even know if I know that one.
You know the band, though, Corn.
No. Well, I've heard of them, but I'm not a Corn fan.
It's a funny joke.
No. But Last Christmas by Wham is a great Christmas song. George Michael, that dude could sing, man.
That's true.
No question. But so that's an underrated Christmas song.
What about the Bing Crosby and David Bowie duet? Ever heard that?
No.
That's a
Bing Crosby?
Yeah. I can't remember. They did a Christmas special.
Really?
And Bing Crosby had David Bowie coming. Apparently, the story was that they were neighbors in real life.
Yeah.
And obviously extremely different people.
Right.
But very good singers.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
came to be part of the thing, and he dressed normally,
Wow.
and he sang A Beautiful Christmas Carol, and away he went.
Okay.
Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy.
There it is.
Oh.
It's an unbelievable song.
Ooh, well, we might have to play that one. Holiday Road, of course, for National Lampoons. It's another classic.
That's a classic.
Sure. And there's lots of them from Love Actually. Like Love Actually, I watch it every year Christmas time. I love that movie.
Don't tell me you tear up at Christmas over Love Actually.
No, not over Love Actually. No.
Okay.
No. There's not. I don't know if there's anything that's sad. Like it's not a teary. Oh, dude, I'm a crier. I'll cry at movies, but not Love Actually.
Cry Titanic.
No.
When the water's rushing in, that old couple are lying on the bed and they're holding each other.
Yeah, but I knew the ending before I watched the movie, so I'm kind of like I know I'm not shocked. It's like, oh my god, what, they're dying? Like I knew people died, so that's the time I cry at lots of movies. Some
really,
some that people are like, what is your? Oh yeah, no, I'm a cry.
Like what movie?
Oh god,
what was your last cry?
Oh man, I'd have to think about it.
Transformers: Age of Empire.
No.
My Dog Skip.
Haven't seen it.
Air Bud Golden Retriever.
Definitely not. What was the last movie? I honestly don't know.
Do you remember any movie you cried at?
Oh god, man, lots of them. Old Yeller for sure. E.T. the first time as a kid, but that was many years ago.
Are you crying because you're sad or crying because you're frightened?
No, never frightened. No, more
you cried
sad.
at E.T. sad?
Well, I was 10 years old, dude. I was in the movie theaters bawling. E.T. was dying. It was the worst. I thought he was going to die, but then he pulled through. Sorry to ruin it for any of the kids out there. But yeah. But yeah, I'd have to think. It's the fact that I cry fairly frequently at a movie, but I'll just sit there and sometimes I'm not even sad and all of a sudden my eyes are watering. I'm like, what is going on here? So it's like a running joke in our household. Yeah, my son but it's good. It's good for a boy to see is, you can cry. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. So I tear it up. But yeah, like animal movies for sure. True stories. Most movies now with anybody loses their dad, that one really gets me. So that one, that can hit me right in the nards pretty easily. So yeah. But some days it's almost embarrassing. Well, you remember when I did the Dancing with the Stars in Edmonton?
Oh yeah.
And you were sitting at the table with my wife. And I was talking about Jenny and I was all really proud of her. And all of a sudden, like I started tearing. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. I'm not even upset. And my wife, like, you're like, oh my God. And my wife's dying laughing because it's an inside joke. She knows I'm like, I don't even know why I was crying there. I'm not even sad. Like, this is brutal. Sometimes it just happens. So
I was like, I don't know what to do. I went to your roast and they were savage and there wasn't any emotion at all from me. You sat there like a stone face of Easter Island.
Yeah, dude, because I was just drinking the pain away, sitting up there for 2 hours, just getting absolutely murdered. So with lies, I should say too. Lots of lies up there. Yeah, I watched that roast. I hadn't watched it in a long time because I have a DVD of it. And I was just like, whew. God, there's some funny lines though. I still remember when the guy Googled my name and it was like some dead guy in the United States.
Oh,
It's like, God, wish this guy was here. Like he had some really funny lines.
You have to be really confident to agree to a roast.
Or really stupid. It's
Wow.
a fine line. I'll tell you that. Fine line. Because
You did it for charity too.
Yeah, but it was a different time now because nowadays when there's a roast, there's like 8 roasters, but everybody, they take equal shots. It was just me getting shot at. So that's why I was like, this is terrible. So yeah, wasn't that fun at the time. I was just, the worst was when there started to be some stories and people in the crowd are like, I'm like, that's not true. Like, and people are believing it because they'll sit there. Well, obviously this guy's telling the truth, right? So that was the hard part. So, hey guys, Marley and Me guaranteed. Everyone talked about Marley and Me when he cried, but yeah, it's funny. Maybe it's because I hyped up about it, but yeah, that one didn't get me as bad as others.
It's those old people in Titanic for me on the bed.
Oh, that's where he cried?
The water's rushing in.
Yeah.
They spend their last moments hugging.
Well, that's great, though. That's a good way to go out, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So, wasn't it what about the mom with her 2 little kids? Wasn't that one the tougher one?
It didn't bug me.
What? Yeah. Yeah. Now it would, but when did you watch it last? You probably weren't a dad.
No, true.
Now you watch, you'd be bawling like, oh my God, his life just started and it's over. Like, let's be real. If you're 80 at that point, you're just like, man, I'm in my prime years here. Everything's a bonus at a certain age. My father-in-law, he goes, hey man, after 75, every day's a bonus. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440. Speck will join us from Utah. Next, Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Trust me, they'll make you cry. They'll make you smile. 25 years and the marathon and the creamsicle are back as they celebrate 25 years. Download the Boosters Reward app or stop in at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Edmonton Oilers back in action down in Salt Lake City, taking on the Utah Hockey Club. Puck drop just after 7. We've got pregame coverage for you with Andrew Walker and Jonathan Paulson getting going at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere on the NHL, just one game going on. Bruins lead the Penguins 1-0. Got about 5 minutes left in the first period. Later tonight, Jets, Golden Knights, and the Stars host the Avs. Earlier today, it was the Rangers losing to the Flyers 3-1, while over the Blackhawks 3-2. The Canucks victorious in overtime over the Sabres 4-3. Red Wings fall to the Devils 5-4. Caps beat the Islanders by that same score. Panthers doubled up the Canes 6-3. Flames losing in Columbus 5-2. Lightning over the Preds 3-2 in overtime. And the Kings get past the Ducks 2-1. Also, hope you took the over. Sharks get by the Kraken 8-5. In the NFL, the Chiefs picked up win number 11 on the season and clinched a playoff berth when they beat the Raiders 19-17 down at Arrowhead in the association. The Raptors back in action. They'll travel to Miami to take on the Heat. Tip off in that one set for 6 o'clock. In the local sports scene, the Edmonton Elks in action. Down in Calgary, taking on the Hitmen. That will get going after 6 in the AJGP is in Lloyd. Drayton Valley takes on Fort Mac, and Canmore meets Devon. And in the BCHL, Sherwood Park hosting Cranbrook. 7 o'clock puck drop in that one. Down at the Drake, you got the Pandas hosting MRU. Puck drop set for 7. The Bears in Calgary taking on the Cougars. That one will get going at 7 as well. At the Saddle Center, Bears and Pandas basketball. They're taking on Winnipeg, Westman. Pandas at 6, Bears at 8, and the McEwen Griffins hockey team heads to Saskatchewan taking on the Huskies. That gets going in about an hour. The women's side hosting the Huskies. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, host of The Lowdown with Lowetide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m. Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
They are late, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
What a wonderful Friday. How are you? You made it through the work week. And now you get to celebrate tonight. Whatever you're doing, maybe you're going home, watching hockey, going out with your friends. Be smart, don't drink and drive. Okay? Get home safe. Take an Uber, take a cab, walk. I don't care, but get home safe so you can watch tomorrow's game. Or maybe you're going shopping. Black Friday deals on now. For many of you, that's like your playoffs. Prepared for it. You've planned. Good luck. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Speaking of luck, hey, maybe yours will hit tonight. $80 million up for grabs in Lotto Max. You can get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And if not, if you're into the Oilers game, Oilers are a favorite on the road. Use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play. PlayAlberta.ca. As mentioned, the Oilers are in Utah as we get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, and they continue to be super busy. Of course, you see them around on Yellowhead and downtown. Just remember, when you're going through construction zones, slow down, be cautious, be respectful. GS Construction, as Mark Spector joins us from lovely Utah. Spec, how's the weather in Utah?
That's nice. I'd say it's about in Celsius. It feels like it's right around 0, maybe 2 or 3 degrees.
All right.
Kind of, you can see snow in the mountains. I don't see any on the ground. It's kind of like Denver weather, maybe. It's not that, It doesn't get that cold down here, I don't think, Jay.
Yeah, well, we had Tyson Nash on. He's been loving the skiing. He says it's unreal ski hill. Spec, you should have brought, you don't have time because you're going to Colorado, but normally you'd be pack your skis for a little extra. You should have got there, you had all week. You just should have went there on Wednesday, little ski trip. Tell the boss, I'm going there for writing purposes, and I'll be writing from the hill. The Oilers, they're going to go with Pickard tonight, Skinner tomorrow. Not a huge surprise, maybe. Obviously, Colorado thinks the better one. Pickard's last 6 starts, 4-2, .915 save percentage. He's only allowed more than 2 goals once, and that was 3. He's got a 2.00 goals against average, and so pretty decent numbers for Pickard against the team right now. Spec, they come in really struggling to score. I think they're 29th in offense in the month of November at only 2.36 goals per game.
So you define a backup goalie who gives you a chance to win every night, right? Like when my backup goalie plays on the road, especially gives up 2, that's all you can ask of your backup goalie. If he does that 6 days in a row, which he has, you should win 4 of those games, and the Oilers did. This is I don't remember the 2 they lost, but I'll bet you their power play wasn't any good in them, and I'll bet you they didn't have much offense. So, you know what? Pickard's playing just fine. People want everything out of a backup. I look at those stats. I say you can't ask more than that out of your backup. If he was better than that, he'd be somebody's starter.
Yeah, well, the one game they lost, he only allowed 2 goals in Montreal. They lost 3-0, once an empty netter, and then the other one was the New Jersey game. So you're right. In both games, Edmonton's inability to score was a factor. And the goal to even Stuart Skinner's last few games have been better. Not perfect, but better. And we talked about this all week. This is a game the Oilers should win, although they won't have the advantage of young Maverick Lamoureux, who has been a minor penalty killer lately, taken 10 minors in his last 7 games, but he'll get a seat in the press box. Bortuzzo will go. Did you get a chance to talk to any of the Utah players and kind of what they're expecting first meeting of the season against the Oilers?
Well, I talked to Nick Bugstad, as a matter of fact.
All right.
And Andre Turigny. I wrote a piece on the whole Utah scene down here. It's up on sportsnet.ca as we speak. So, more about that. They're kind of muddling along. Like I think you and I talked about this a little yesterday. They can't afford to have Marino and Dursey out of their lineup.
No,
they're not a good enough team to lose their 2 top defensemen, and that's what they got going on here right now.
Right.
Well, they're struggling. They're struggling to keep pucks out of their net, and they don't score much. Their power play, like Edmonton's, is not going. It's not productive, and they're okay, but Turigny sees a lot more in his team. He thinks they can be a lot better. Of course, he does. Every coach does, and I'm sure they can be. But they're hanging on for dear life till these defensemen get back. They're not a deep team to start with, and those are 2 really important guys for them.
Wow, and Marino's still a few months away, and I'm not sure if Durzi will be even back this season. So it's a real unfortunate part because, they looked at kind of, hey, we got to strengthen our defense. They went and got some good defense. And then two of them, basically Durzi got 4 games in and Marino hasn't even played a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Bad luck, man. Bad luck. I mean, and take out Ekholm and Bouchard from the Oilers all year and it would leave a big dent, boy. If you're a good team, you're a bad team. You can't afford 2 of your top defensemen out. It's just, you just don't have enough good defensemen on any team, let alone a team that used to be the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, you're bang on that. Mark Spector joins us. The Oilers, Zach Hyman not playing today, not playing tomorrow, but on the trip. Arvidsson not going to play. So that's 3 weeks now for a guy that was day to day that they thought would play in a weekend. It's 3 weeks later. At what point do you get concerned about the Arvidsson injury?
Well, it's his history, right? It's his history. Like he missed the whole playoffs 1 year. He missed most of the season. Was it last year? I believe, right? He only played. How many games did he play in the regular season last year?
18.
Yeah. So he missed most of the season last year. So yeah, majorly concerned. Like guys like him, if whatever the injuries are that are bugging him, if he's got that same one again, and we don't have a clue what it is. And I will add, teams that are very secretive about injuries, it's because it's not a great injury. If he had something that had nothing to do with anything he's ever had before, usually history tells us teams make a lot of noise and they go, oh, no, it's not the same back injury that kept him out. It's he's got a something else injury, right? The Oilers are being very secretive about this injury. I don't like that. I don't like Arvidsson's injury history. So yeah, if I was an Oilers fan, I'd already be worried because of the player and because of the player's history. Who knows what's going on with this guy?
Now, Mark Spector joins us. The Oilers, we had Craig Button on. We asked him about Hyman and Bouchard. What do you think their chances are? I know the roster has to be submitted to the Four Nations on Monday, and then they'll be announced next Wednesday. Bouchard and Hyman, do you think they make the team?
I think Hyman will make the team. Bouchard, I'm not as sure. Hyman's done what he does for a long time. And if you look at his analytics and his chances, his scoring chances, how he's played, other than the puck crossing the line, he's been mostly the same guy. He's had a ton of chances, fair few shots. He just has had no puck luck this year. I think that Team Canada will overlook that, and I think they'll bring him. Bouchard's a different animal here. Like, is he going there to run their power play? I don't think he is. I think McCarr's probably running that power play, right? I mean, that's what I'm going to assume. So
he'll run the first unit, right?
Okay, the first unit, sure. I mean, I guess he could run the second unit. That's fair.
Yeah, because it's not Edmonton where the first unit isn't going to be playing 1:45 at the Worlds. I mean, sorry, at the Four Nations.
No, but they'll play 1:15 or a minute plus anyway. So anyway, my point is they've got a number one power play guy in McCarr. Bouchard has shown he can play a defensive game at a level that can win you big, important, hard-fought games. He was wicked good in the playoffs last year. So he's shown us that he can do it, but he's not doing it this year. He's not been great defensively. And I just think the competition, Hyman's fighting for one of 8 or 9 winger spots, right? Bouchard, after you get the first pairing out of the way, Bouchard's fighting for one of 2, 4, maybe 6 defenseman spots. It's a tall order. I'm guessing he doesn't make it. I hope he does, but I'm guessing he doesn't.
I think he's in the mix because to me, Pietrangelo and McCarr are the obvious top 2 right guys. I think Shea Theodore, and for me, it's Josh Morrissey. I think those are the 2 top lefts. Then there's Devon Taves, there's Evan Bouchard, there's Dougie Hamilton. There's a few other guys in there. And so he's right in the mix. And it'll just come down to fit for them. I'll be more surprised if he's not on the team than if he's on the team, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, then let's see what happens. And where do you have Skinner being in the top 3 or no?
No, I do not. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing for him. Him and his wife will be expecting a baby right around that time. So I don't think it's the end of the world for him. I will say that like Skinner last season, from the time Knobloch took over till the end, he was easily top 3 Canadian goaltenders. Easily. Just look at his regular season numbers and then look at his, at the end of the day, he had a few bad games against Vancouver. Other than that, he was outstanding from game 6 in the Vancouver one till the end of the playoffs. I had no issue with him. He was the reason they beat Dallas. He was better than Ottinger that entire series and was monumental in game 6 against them when they crushed the Oilers, outshot them 34-10. And Stuart Skinner stood on his head that game, right? And so he's shown he can do it, but the reason why I don't think he makes a team is he's had just a few too many really cold streaks. And I just don't think they're like, hey man, if we get hot Skinner or good Skinner, fine. But what if we get cold Skinner? And I think that's why he won't make it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he hasn't played himself. I think he had to start the season. He had to play himself onto the team. He hasn't played himself onto the team. And his reputation isn't deep enough, right? His reputation of playing in big games and being a big game goalie, it's one playoff run long. So that's not enough. He's not making the team on that reputation. He needs to make the team on current state of play, and current state of play probably isn't going to put him top 3. That is fair, Jason.
Spec, you look at the Oilers, the rest of their lineup, Hyman, Arvidsson. We know Hyman's getting close. Arvidsson, who knows how far he'll go. But their defense with Nurse and Kulak, and even Emberson's game, I think, is really rounded out here in this month. I look at the Oilers' blue line. Do you think they're only going to add one D-man, or D-man, I should say, at the deadline? Do you think they look to add 2? Do they want a better number 7 even than Stetcher or Dermott?
That's a good question. I mean, how much cap space are they going to have for players in general? How much, what are they going to be able to do? How many? Sure, you can dump maybe at the deadline. Like, I know a guy like Skinner has no move here, right? So you might not be able to move him. You can try to dump a salary and bring guys in, but how many assets are you going to give up? I personally don't think they'll be able to afford 2 defensemen. I think that if they get the defenseman they want, if they get a no-doubter second pairing level defenseman, then I think if they had any more money to spend or any more capital or whatever, they'd probably go out and get another forward. So no, I'm at 1. Okay. I think what I want is a guy better than Kulak, and that doesn't mean I'll play him ahead of Kulak. But I want a guy that, I want a second pairing defenseman. And if Kulak and Nurse are so good together, I might play that new guy on my third pairing.
Yeah, 100%.
Spec, you're in your first time in Utah. You get to travel all the time with the Oil. Like Seattle was the last time you had a new market. What are you going to do to get acclimatized to the Utah life?
Well, I hate to report to you guys right now that the Colorado State is defeating the Utah State Aggies in the final college game of the year. The Aggies will fall to 4-8. So I've actually watched at least 10 plays of this game, Wanye. Okay. So that's a start.
Is it Denver? Is it a different Denver? What's your impressions?
It's kind of Denver. The mountains are closer. It's like the mountains are way closer than they are in Calgary. It's kind of like where Cochrane is, maybe, or even a little bit west of there. Like, this town is pretty much surrounded by real mountains. Like Park City, which is apparently a world-class ski hill. I've not skied.
Oh, yes.
Is like 45 minutes from downtown, right? Mm-hmm. It's not an hour and a half. It's 45 minutes. So this town is right in the mountain. I could, like, if you're a mountain person like I am, the mountains are where that's my Zen place. For some guys, it's the ocean, right? For some guys, it's the beach, whatever. For me, it's the mountains. I could wake up and look at these mountains every day, man. I live here in a heartbeat just based on geography alone. So it looks really cool. I'm not going to probably become a Latter-day Saint in the next couple hours. I can tell you that one. Yeah, if I might, but I think I don't have enough time.
Take 3 hours to become a member.
Yeah, to become. I'll tell you what, Derek Ryan was a hot commodity at practice this morning. The guy from the Latter-day Saint newspaper was having a big long interview with him, which he should. I believe Derek Ryan's the only Latter-day Saint in the National Hockey League. I'm not positive on that, but I believe so. So that's kind of cool for this market. So yeah, it looks like a nice town. It seems pretty cool to me. I wish I could spend more time here.
Well, Spec, enjoy the game. It seems like forever since the Oilers played, so there's little excitement there. All the audience, people are fired up, and then it's back-to-back games. They get right back into the swing of things, and they got a big homestand in December. Between now and Christmas Day. So if I look at, I'm doing the math in my head, that's 26 days. The Oilers, the schedule sets up for them to put themselves in a very good playoff spot in the next 26 days.
Well, it's U.S. Thanksgiving, and the Oilers are a point out of the playoffs. So to me, they passed the U.S. Thanksgiving test. They had, there's so much more in this team for them to play better. If you were 7 or 8 points out, I'd say, but they're not. They're 1 point out. And the schedule sets up, like you say, Jay, this is the month for them. This is the month for them to turn from a team that's spinning their wheels, a team that's kind of screwing around, to a team that flexes their muscles and turns into a contender. We want to see that. If they're not playing at that level by Christmas, it will be fair to start to ask if they have that level for some reason. I don't see why they wouldn't, but this is the stretch. You nailed it. Between now and Christmas is the stretch for them to start showing us who they are.
Spec, enjoy it, and best of luck converting. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Thanks, boys.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, anything but a saint. That's for sure. When we come back,
I don't want to lose Derek Ryan, but if I'm Utah, and this is the first member of Latter-day Saints that has ever played in the NHL, and he's active currently, he's got to be on the Utah Hockey Club. Like the branding and the ticket driving.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be that they're lacking in that department, but you're probably not wrong. I think it would help if he was a little bit younger for him. Like right now, they've got Stenlund as a fourth line center, infinitely better fourth line center. That's the challenge. Like they don't need Derek Ryan. Now maybe you want to put him in the retires.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, from the community side, potentially. But they don't need him as the player because Stenlund, he was excellent for Florida. Big, huge, wins face-offs. Like that's actually who the Oilers need. But obviously they signed him to a big deal. Edmonton won't be able to afford him for a fourth line guy. But Derek Ryan is the one guy that I do think, if I look at the Oilers roster today and everybody's healthy, he's the one player who I think his spot is the most in peril to lose.
If I'm Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Hockey Club, not the other Smitty,
right?
I go get Derek Ryan because it's easier to sell to the community if you have a member of the community.
All right.
There's such big money in Utah in that community.
There
like
is.
the Jazz, it's all about it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a fair point. When we come back, LT will join us and more. Gregor, Wanye, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Remember, $80 million up for grabs. What would you do? Hopefully you'd have a lot of fun. Be smart. Get a financial advisor. But you get your tickets at playalberta.ca for the Lotto Max tonight.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Marathon, the Original, and the Orangesicle, made with oranges, orange sorbet, and vanilla frozen yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Black Friday is on now at The Brick. Take advantage of incredible deals in every department, like up to 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair, up to 50% off mattresses, and up to $3,000 off select big screen TVs. Plus, buy more, save more, up to $300 off select major kitchen appliances. Turn big payments into small ones and take 72 months to pay with no interest. Some exclusions apply on approved credit. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Albertans are always on the go for work, for play, and from downtown to wide open spaces. Nobody keeps Albertans moving like Dedham Ford. They've delivered the service and value buyers want for over 65 years. Now, for a limited time, enjoy cash savings up to $16,000 or rates as low as 0% during Dedham Ford's Black Friday blowout. Keep life moving courtesy of where cars always cost less. Dedham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at dedhamford.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on. Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Connor Halley, and you. Thanks for listening. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook and X. Instagram's a busy place. Listening, watching. We appreciate it. Hope you're having an awesome day and big plans for the weekend. It's supposed to snow a little bit. If you're like me and you like shoveling, trust me, it's the worst things in the world to do. So, especially when it's kind of light, it's not overly heavy. It's not the wet snow. Right? So, I'll take the snow all day. Love the snow. Let's go in the room now. Brought to you by Action Electrical. And what Action do? Hey, if you like savings, that's why you go to actionelectrical.net, especially if you have a commercial building and you've been looking to get solar on it. Well, you know all about the tax rebates. You can save up to 30%, huge savings. Actionelectrical.net. They'll help you out. We welcome in Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown, noon until 2 on Sports 1440. And Al, I know you're crunching the numbers all the time. What is your number crunching say for tonight's Oilers-Utah game?
This should be a win for the Oilers. All the indicator lights are positive. There should be some rust early. Maybe Utah scores. They have a lot of injuries, but they're a hardworking hockey club, and they're headed in a good direction. I think that fans of Utah Hockey Club should be encouraged, no matter what faith their players are. And I suspect that we'll see a 3-2 win, but there will be some nervous moments for Oilers fans.
3-2, low scoring. I actually think the Oilers' offense has woken up, maybe. And Utah, well, I'm curious about the power play, Al. Does the power play score a goal tonight?
Oh, well, I mean, do we expect a miracle every night? Because, I don't know why they're not changing stuff up. I mean, Bouchard can't get the puck through, so stop relying on him. Do something else. But the odds are, I would always say, with the talent they put on the ice of a power play, yes, they'll score a power play goal tonight.
Look at Al, Positive Friday. I like it. Calvin Pickard, Al. Like everyone, goal. Calvin Pickard's last 6 starts, it's 4-2. He's got a .915 save percentage and a 2.00 goals against average. The games he lost was Oilers didn't score a goal in Montreal. He only allowed 2, and then only gave up 3 against New Jersey. Like he's played pretty well here, basically outside of his first start of the season. He's played pretty good.
Yeah, and I think, one thing that fans have been down on Stuart Skinner, I think it's okay if Pickard's running hot, play him, because, that gives more reps to Skinner. Skinner probably is the starter in the playoffs, but we've seen, I remember when Rolison signed the big contract, Garon ended up playing more for quite some time. Goaltending it's like pitching in baseball. It's a little bit in and out, and if you're running a hot hand and Pickard's played well, go with him. He's a very fine goaltender.
Yeah, I don't have much of an issue if they run with Pickard for a bit. Although I still think Skinner's going to play 2 out of 3 on this road trip. Unless he really soils the sheets in Colorado. I think if he has a solid performance there, he's going to play again in Vegas on Tuesday. Al, I asked Spec. I'll ask you. We know Connor McDavid's on the team. I think we all assume Matthias Ekholm is going to make Team Sweden. Hyman and Bouchard, do they make Team Canada?
I think they do. Both have struggled a little bit this year, but based on longer term, I think you put them on. I think you put Bouchard on. I think you put Hyman on, and maybe Hyman doesn't play with McDavid. I don't know how that would. I haven't looked at the depth charts, but Hyman can do a lot of things. He's kind of a wrecking crew. He can get in the way and upset opposition exits out of the zone. And, he's struggling to score right now, but I don't think anybody does that he can actually do that. So I'd put Hyman on the team, and I definitely put Bouchard on the team because, as much chaos as he's caused this year, if you look at his numbers going back to 22-23, he's about 58% goal share at 5-on-5. His passing would come in handy for Canada.
Yeah, it's it'd be fascinating to me. I think my top 4 are Makar, Theodore, Pietrangelo, and Morrissey. Do you agree, or do you think someone else is in the top 4?
No, I think that's fair. If Mike Babcock is coaching, then you got to find a bunch of guys who don't pass the puck. But I think that's fair. And Makar is probably going to play a lot of the game, so that if you decide not to run Bouchard, you're probably okay there. But I think your list is strong.
Al Mitchell joined us, Sports 1440. Al, all the arrows are pointing to Mr. Killam becoming the next head coach of the Edmonton Elks. What do you make of this choice?
Well, it's interesting. They had a lot of really good candidates. The Canadian Football League is not just a team that develops players, but also coaches. I was hoping for Campbell just because I'm an old guy and a sentimental fool. But I think you have to trust the management here. They seem to have a plan. They're very confident. In fact, they're excited about it. So if they're excited about this head coach, then let's see what he's got.
Yeah, he's been around the league a long time, and he's kind of saying, hey, he's waited for an opportunity. Let's see what he does. The OC and the DC will be some interesting names to look for. I think Jordan Maksimic, if he's not the head coach in BC, lock it in. He'll be the OC in Edmonton. So I think that's what, and I'd be like, if BC fired Rick Campbell, and if you look at their record the last few years, it's fine. And Maksimic's on the squad. How different do they think it's going to be with him going from OC to head coach? I don't really know, but would it be that dramatically different? And if not, then why would we hire Maksimic? That would be my question.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes the thing I always worry about in the CFL is you get a guy who's been a long time, like say DC, and you put him in the head coaching job. And sometimes, guys, I think Steve Tambellini was a little bit that way. They spend so much time in middle management, they maybe lose their own vision and they become more of a consigliere. And you have to worry about that a little bit. But we'll see. I in the Canadian Football League, what's fair? 2 years, 2 full seasons for a coach? I mean, if you come in, you deliver a season that's better than the previous year, then you're going to get your second year. If you come in and lose a couple of games more, you probably still get a second year, but I think you have 2 years in the CFL.
Yeah, and it's they're probably going to fill out the management team as well. Zimmerman likely coming in from Hamilton, I would think. So they've got a lot of pieces moving here, Al. And then I guess the question will be, Trey Ford. I'll be stunned if he doesn't sign. I think they're for sure going to get him in, and then it's just a matter of filling out around them. They got some pretty big name free agents potentially. So especially on the defensive side of the ball, linebackers, D linemen, Bratton, etc. in the secondary, Pure Ford, the safety. Ed Hervey's going to have a real busy 2 weeks before Christmas, because usually you like to have a lot of those guys signed before Christmas if you can.
Yeah, it's true. Now, I'm just going to be selfish here and be honest with you, Jason. What I am hoping is they sign Trey Ford, and then they never play him, so that when you come on my show Mondays, you're mad as hell.
Al, that's rather selfish. I'll say I don't think Chris Morris or Ed Hervey will do that. I'll just say this.
Okay, I'll put that dream aside for you.
Spec, have you ever been to Utah? We were talking with LT. We were talking to Spec earlier about having been to Utah. Have you been?
Yes, I have. It's a beautiful country, and the people are just very nice. An Edmontonian could easily go to Salt Lake City and have a wonderful time. It's good people. It really is. And I heard Spec talking about the mountains, and he went off, got a little poetic. I was a little worried there for a minute, but yeah, it's a different kind of terrain, but it is lovely, and the people are terrific. It's a very friendly place, and pretty much all the amenities. If I had my brothers, I probably would take it over Phoenix, honestly, and I like Phoenix too.
Cool.
LT, enjoy the game. We selfishly hope it's more than 5 goals, but you never know. It will be interesting to see. And quickly, Al, have you ever seen a coach make such a blatantly wrong decision, then double down and say, I handled it well, and then the next day get fired? Because that's what happened to the Bears.
Yeah, the Expos had a manager named Tom Reynolds years ago. He showed up at his first spring training in a military outfit, and he came up in a Jeep, and he had like a commander's uniform, like a lieutenant or general in the Army. And he got out and he said, this ball club is playing half-assed. I'm turning around in a heartbeat, and he lasted 35 games. But that's the kind of it's rare to see a guy blow it that badly, and it's even more rare for the team who haven't fired anybody during a season in 100+ years to fire him next day. Like that's a belly flop off the high board right there.
Yeah. LT, we will chat with you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
All right. Be good, boys.
Have a good weekend.
There we go. That's a quick break. We'll come back on a lot of texts to get to. Wanye's World and more. Gregor, Wanye, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, 833. 401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m. Hockey is back, And Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area, prices exclude delivery.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Commissioner Allen Auctions Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring Tritum, tandem, and single-axle trucks including cab and chassis, box and hoist, stickers, fuel lube, tractors, man lifts, pickers, plows, and van bodies. Info at maauctions.com.
As an Albertan, you expect the challenge of icy roads, but what you may not expect is Cross Mitsubishi helping you gear up for winter with winter tires. And now, for a very limited time, you'll receive a set of winter tires for free with your purchase. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. All from the home of the 10-10-10 warranty and Western Canada's largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory, Cross Mitsubishi. Get your free winter tires now and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Avenue and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
A delicious new deal is at Tim's. $3 for a classic breakfast sandwich when you buy any size hot or iced coffee. You heard that right. Just $3 for a classic breakfast sandwich with Canada's favorite coffee. Terms apply. See app for details.
It's time for Tim's.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $10,104 off select 2024 Sierra 2500 AT4 models. Make loading easier than ever with the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. Make hauling easier than ever with up to 14 available camera views, including transparent trailer view. And make finding tunes easier than ever with a class-leading 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. Yeah, let's get to work. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Hello, may I take your order?
Yes, I'd like a double Schwab, please.
Excuse me?
And upsize the Schwabs.
Sir,
Can I get a diet Schwab with that?
please pull around, sir.
It's get the truck out of here at Schwab's. Right now, get a 2024 GMC or Chevy 1500 Crew Cab loaded with extras for just $54,995, or a 2024 GMC 1500 Crew Cab Elevation starting at $56,900. Plus, save up to $17,000 on the Sierra Denali and Chevy High Country. Satisfy that craving at Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team at Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
547. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Juan Regrets. A lot of text to get to. Hey, boys, do you think Sam O'Reilly is going to make the World Junior team? Well, I think he'll get invited to the camp. But I don't know if he's a lock. Well, like his two-way game is very responsible. So I'd say he's probably a pretty good chance. Really good question. I'll be honest, I haven't dug deep into the World Junior roster. I was more looking at the Four Nations one, but from talking to Button and Shane Malloy and a few other guys who spend way more time than I do, Steve Ellis, about O'Reilly, they rave about his two-way game. And if you just look at points, you're going to miss it. Hey guys, I think we have a better number 7 than Stetcher or Dermott's, Josh Brown. I don't understand why they're still playing ahead of him. He just checks off many extra boxes from AH. Well, he's bigger and tougher, but he doesn't move the puck well. He's not as good of a skater. Actually, I don't think he is their answer. To be honest, could he be a number 7? But then you want the number 7 to be able to play. And his foot speed to me is not great. So we'll see. Hey guys, is Arvidsson on IR? Are we adding cap space at all right now with him out for the last month? Yes, because they're carrying the minimum amount of guys, right? So, well, no, because him and Hyman are on it, and Kajula. So they now, I think when they put Kajula on, it's impossible that they can't. So I don't think they're accruing cap space. So that's 12, 13, 14, 23, but I think that puts them over. So I think Kane is back into, they probably move Kane back to LTIR today for a bit. And then once Hyman's healthy, they send Kajula back. Once Kajula is not on the roster, then yes, they are accruing cap space. So there. Let's get to Wanye's world. Wanye, what's going on in your world? Brought to you by Action Electrical.
Well, I had a whole thing planned out about I have no beef with Utah, but I want to get back to the fun text messages that people were sending in earlier that you said we don't have time to talk about because we want to talk about sports. But I want to use Wanye's world to hear what other hilarity the listeners have sent in because I think they're funnier than we are. What do we got?
Well, we do have lots of texts that have come in about, I don't believe Wanye hasn't cried. Lies. I would agree with that. See, they're calling you.
Oh, I have cried. I'm not a big movie crier.
Yeah. Hey, boys, I'm not a crier, but last week We Are Marshall was on Waterfalls from Nathan and Beaumont. Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I was telling Wanye about it. Well, sports movies for sure, because that's real life. And,
you cried in Rudy?
No, I don't think I cried in Rudy. Remembering the Titans for sure. That would but it's not like a sobbing cry, right? It's just kind of like you sit there and you could get emotional over it. Yeah, when he gets in the car accident, his career's done. Right? Like that's a tough one. Sure. It's brutal. So that's you kind of a feel for the person. It's not like it's that, it's just like, yeah, but now his sporting career's over. So that's that,
I took Wanye Jr. to Wild Robot. Do you know what that is, Gregor? It's a new kids movie out.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I haven't seen it. Is it good?
I darn near cried when the one little goose flied away.
I hear it's pretty sad. That's what I've heard.
I was having an emotional moment with my son and a robot and a goose.
Yeah, it's not bad. We do have, hey guys, my brother cried during The Notebook. His wife told all of us after it happened, never let her live that down. Well, it's funny. You were talking about it in studio, and Connor was Conn's barely cries. He's just like he's like Seinfeld. What is this salty discharge when he probably ever cries? So
just not movies.
No,
real life stories will get me. I don't want people to think I'm a robot, but movies, I can.
But what about a real life? Like, what about a true story movie?
If it was like a documentary on that story, maybe, but like Brian's song would be the big one. I heard about it. Everyone told me you're going to cry.
What is that?
Is it Brian Piccolo from the old Chicago Bears? Well, honey, you haven't seen it.
What happened to him?
He had cancer.
Oh, no.
He died.
Oh, no.
Was it Gale Sayers was the other player? Anyway, yeah. But if it's like...
Oh, Brian's song, buddy, is one of the... Like, you should watch that movie.
Why? I don't want to cry.
A lot of people.
It is so good, though. Like, honestly, anybody out there who hasn't watched Brian's song, I highly recommend. Your wife or your husband, whatever. You know what? We got a lot of ladies who are huge sports fans. Their husbands aren't. Awesome. If your spouse is not a sports fan, they will still enjoy Brian's song. I'm telling you that right now.
What year did this come out?
Oh, 1970 something.
How would I even find this movie?
It was a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, for TV. Oh, it holds up very well.
But do I send in a coupon to some sort of mail order service? How do I watch it?
You probably watch it online somewhere or one of those services like Plex or somewhere. You can download the movie. It's got to be out there, man. It's unreal, though.
You can rent it for $5 from...
There you go.
Google Play.
Google Play. Is it on Shaw On Demand? I don't know. But look. But yeah, for $5 one day, I'm telling you right now. Your next first date. That could be, well, maybe not your first date, but your next fourth date.
You want me to open up with crying?
Why not? Just show her your emotional side.
And never be seen again.
Yeah, exactly. So one and done, honey. One and done. Everybody have a great weekend, please. Have fun. Don't drink and drive. Don't be inebriated. No weed. No gummies. Don't get behind the wheel. Don't be a dummy on gummies. Okay? On behalf of Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz, I'm Jason Gregor. We will chat with you on. I'm going to start using that from now on. You dummy on gummies. I like it. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. If all of a sudden your furnace conks out this weekend, call them. They'll come fix it, get you a new one if need be. No overtime charges. legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers back in action tonight down in Utah, taking on the hockey club. Puck drop set for 7 o'clock. We've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson coming up next right here on Sports 1440. No Zach Hyman or Victor Robertson for the Oil. Calvin Pickard gets the start on the ice right now. Bruins up on the Penguins 1-0 midway through the second period. Later tonight, you got the Jets and the Golden Knights and the Stars hosting the Avs. Earlier today, Rangers fell to the Flyers 3-1. It was the Wild over the Blackhawks 3-2. Canucks pick up the overtime win over the Sabres 4-3. Devils down the Red Wings 5-4. Caps over the Islanders. By that same score, Hurricanes fall at home to the Panthers 6-3. Flames losing to the Jackets 5-2. Lightning over the Preds 3-2 in overtime, and the Kings knocked off the Ducks 2-1. Down in San Jose is all Sharks as they beat up on the Kraken 8-5. In the NFL today, a rare Friday game. Chiefs pick up their 11th win of the season, clinching a playoff spot in the process as they down the Raiders 19-17 in the association. The Raptors taking on the Miami Heat. That'll get going in about 10 minutes time. Right now, 2 games underway in NBA Cup group play. The Magic lead the Nets 23-19, and the Clippers trail the Timberwolves 16-8. Local action in the WHL. Oil Kings playing down in Calgary. That gets going in about 10 minutes time. In the AJ, we've got GB and Lloyd. Drayton Valley takes on Fort Mac, and Canmore meets Devon in the BCHL. Sherwood Park hosting Cranbrook. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock down at the Drake. The Pandas hosting Mount Royal. Puck drop 7 o'clock. The Bears in Calgary taking on those Cougars. That also starts at 7 at the Saville Center. You got Bears and Pandas basketball taking on the University of Winnipeg. Pandas at 6, Bears at 8, and the McEwen Griffins men's hockey team heads to Saskatchewan to take on the Huskies at 6. The women will host the Huskies this weekend. Puck drop at 7. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440.